physicist Dr. Brad Tucker says it's the first time it will be seen in 70 years.
This one goes through essentially ice volcanic eruptions. So instead of producing and erupting lava and gas, this shoots off frozen ice in these huge eruptions, and as it goes off into space, you can see them as this kind of second tail, which gives it the horned appearance.
The cost of living crisis has cast a gloomy outlook over the nation, which appears to be biting the Albanese government. A poll conducted for SMH The Age has seen Labor's primary vote drop from 32 to 30% over the past month. Although Anthony Albanese has kept his lead as preferred Prime Minister over Peter Dutton, 41 to 32%. The survey also shows that 55% of voters would struggle to pay for a major expense given their stretched finances. And 2 Japanese Navy SH-60 helicopters have crashed in the Pacific Ocean south of Tokyo during a nighttime training flight. The country's defence minister said it's highly likely the 2 choppers collided with each other before crashing into the ocean. One crew member who had been recovered from the sea was later pronounced dead, whilst there are 7 others missing. Now to 5AA Sport.
Colours, custom design, any house, any style. Gliderol Garage Doors. Gliderol.com.au.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Lucy. It is back to the drawing board for both the Crows and Port Adelaide ahead of their round 7 matches this weekend. That's after both suffered losses last weekend. The Crows will regain midfielder Matt Crouch after he missed last week through suspension, while the Power are a chance to regain Ollie Wines and Charlie Dixon for their match at home on Friday night against St Kilda. There were 2 games to wrap up the round yesterday, with Sydney 53-point winners against Gold Coast, while Hawthorn recorded its first win of the year with a 45-point drubbing of North Melbourne. Roos coach Alistair Clarkson says it's going to take a lot of hard work to get themselves back up the ladder.
We know what the narrative's going to be, but knew that 18 months ago, 2 years ago, when we took on the job, we needed to change the culture and environment of our footy club and invest in youth. It's the only way that we can go.
Let's go to soccer. It's going to be an all-Manchester affair in the FA Cup final after United played out a thrilling penalty shootout win against Coventry. The Red Devils and Coventry were locked at 3-3 at the end of extra time, and they held their nerve to take it out and will now meet Man City for the trophy. Meantime, in the English Premier League, Liverpool has kept pace with Arsenal at the top of the table thanks to a 3-1 away win against Fulham. And Aussie Jack Robinson has taken out the Margaret River Surf Pro, beating John Florence in the final. Hawaiian Gabriella Bryan won the women's final. Aussie's Tyler Wright and India Robinson finished in the semi-finals. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Thank you, Tom. Now the 5AA forecast. 25 and sunny today, 26 partly cloudy tomorrow, dropping back on Wednesday to 18 before 19 partly cloudy on Thursday. Right now it's 8.4. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Electricity bill!
Bills shouldn't be scary. EcoVantage have supplied energy efficiency in homes for over 15 years. They can install hot water systems that use up to 80% less electricity than regular hot water systems. Help the environment while you save hundreds. And thanks to federal and SA government incentives, you could get your energy efficient hot water system supplied and installed for as little as no cost to you. Stop scary hot water bills with ecovantage.com.au.
Are you thinking about a sea change? Where you can walk to the beach and be part of a close community? Think Oakford Homes at Encounter Bay. You can live in a brand new low-maintenance home with all facilities close by. Fixed price turnkey packages, flat land, ready to build. Move in now or invest for the future. Oakford Homes at Encounter Bay. Come down for a drive and look through our display village and see why Stage 1 is nearly sold out. Oakford Homes, a statement of quality. oakfordhomes.com.au.
Steinborner Automotive has always been well worth the trip, and now there's Barossa Mazda, Murray Street, Nuriupa. SA's newest Mazda dealership is now open. For 40 years, Steinborner has provided South Australians with outstanding customer service, exceptional value, and a large selection of new, used, and demo vehicles. The Steinborner story continues with the opening of their new, state-of-the-art Mazda dealership in Barossa Valley. Barossa Mazda. It's well worth the trip. BarossaMazda.com.au.
Now, Will, I know it's early to start interrogating you, but how's the old garden coming along?
This is how they do it, isn't it? When you're sleep deprived, they start asking you probing questions.
That's right.
I'll break down under questioning and tell you, David, it's nothing like yours.
I tell you what, mine's not looking that good at the moment. I went berserk yesterday with a cultivator. In fact, I might need to get a new cultivator. And if I'm going to get a new cultivator, or indeed a new anything, I'm going to get it at Stanford's, because these guys, they've been there for years. They know their stuff. They don't just talk gardens too. They want to see your photographs.
A picture's worth 1,000 words, and nothing makes the Stanford team's day like a photo of your pride and joy, your garden.
That's right, and they've seen it all. With 100 years combined experience, they want to see your unusual garden, your work in progress, your new veggie patch or your old veggie patch. They want to see it all. They're a wealth of knowledge when it comes to tips and tools to keep your garden pristine.
Pop in for tips or just to brag to someone who gets it. Go see Ben and Archie and their experienced team. 590 Main North Road, Jeps Cross, or check out stanfordmowers.com.au.
Since I got these new shoes from Gilmore's, I can do even more dance moves. Here, hold my phone.
Oh, Grandma, do we have to do this here?
Oh, don't be silly. The light is great. I've got more than 80 followers, you know. You're out with an influencer.
My grandma, the influencer. Just wow.
Well, you can thank Gilmore's for that. My followers love seeing the new shoes I've bought.
I know. I've read some of the comments. Actually pretty good.
I told you I'm trending.
Gilmore's Comfort Shoes, South Road, Melrose Park, opposite Castle Plaza.
Setting the agenda for South Australia. This is 5AA, always Adelaide.
The 5AA Player app lets you listen to all your favourite 5AA shows wherever you go.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
6:08, good morning to you. Welcome to Monday on 5AA Breakfast. It is the 22nd of April. Has anyone ever accidentally caught a shark? We're going to be talking about that story over the course of the morning. We'll endeavour to chat with Perza too about what your obligations are and how to be safe and all that sort of stuff after 7 o'clock today. Stacey Lee's going to join us on the show. We'll talk state politics. She's going to put someone in the Keen Office Furniture hot seat as well. One of the new judges in the new season of MasterChef that kicks off tonight will be on the program. Poe, our very own, Adelaide's favourite MasterChef contestant, now full-time judge. We're going to try and get a sense of what's going to take place tonight at the council meeting that will determine the a large component of the Crows Thebarton move. That is the Sandfulls move back to West Lakes. That seems to all of a sudden be some sort of hurdle to summit. And we're off to the US in the first hour of the program too. The US aid bill to Ukraine went through. Hugely important one, this, because it contained all the AUKUS funding in it. It was all bundled up in this aid bill for Ukraine, along with all manner of other things, TikTok ban and so forth. We're going to get into that just before 7. David Penberthy, good morning to you.
Good morning, listeners. Good morning, Will. I trust everybody had a good weekend. I tell you what, the weather, autumn in Adelaide. Can't beat autumn in Adelaide. I love that wonderful weather we get at this time of year, March, April, May. Usually get a bit of it still sticking around in May, but yeah, just superb. And less said about the football, the better.
Football free zone.
We are going to have to talk about it at some point.
Well, we got Rennie and then we got Rowie. And
yeah.
No doubt our minds will wander at random points over the course of the morning.
I had some very funny exchanges over the weekend with some Port supporter friends of mine. Just
went early? Did they go
early?
They
went early.
Oh, no.
They went early.
Oh, you don't want to go early.
And then I got them back.
Don't go early.
It got very juvenile, very entertaining. But, yeah, I think the thrust of what I said to my mate was the difference between you lot and us is at least we know we're not very good. We'll save the... Sam's just staring daggers at me there in the studio.
Yeah, he had a dark weekend. He was working with Rowie and... with Timmy G and Treaders on the call on that one.
Front row seat for the misery.
Yeah.
What about that?
He's still...
Now, this shark story, my God, the photograph of the shark... So is it a baby great white?
I think it was a great white, yeah.
Because it's got that pushed up nose.
Yeah.
It's a great white shark. Imagine pulling one of them in and it's just in the boat because it'd be sitting there, sort of not moving, and then you're trying to get the hook out. Because they're trying to do the right thing by it. They're trying to put it back. And then suddenly, yeah, it's a white pointer. White pointer. Great white / white pointer. They're the same. Interchangeable names, aren't they? Great white pointer.
I thought so.
But the teeth on it, though. You look at the way those things develop. Like they just...
Oh, they're built to cut flesh.
They're extraordinary.
You know what the most... Oh, the sort of ick-inducing turn of phrase I heard. Lucy just played it in 5AA News from the dad, describing his son's leg getting bitten by the shark. I don't even want to say it, but I'm going to have to because I've taken us down this path now. When he describes seeing the fat leave his son's leg. Oh, that is awful. We could laugh about it because it sounds like everyone's going to be okay, but that's awful. The thing that I know, I'm obviously no fisherman, and maybe you can help, David, but maybe not. What are you fishing for down there off the Tye Reef that you've got heavy enough gear, you've got a strong enough line that could reel in a great white?
Well, I don't know. I mean, how big was it though? It wasn't huge. It wasn't a huge fish.
Still would take a heavy line.
Yeah, but I reckon I'm guessing here. I think from what I know, from only probably gone out 5 times in my life fishing on a boat, and it's not my cup of tea. But if you're trying to catch things like snapper, which have got bitey teeth, you often need to put like a line, I think a bit of wire on to stop them from biting through it.
Yeah.
And snapper get pretty big. I reckon you could get a snapper that was up.
Can you fish for snapper at the moment?
Well, no, you can't. I don't think.
No, so you can't. That's my question. I'm very curious. Not casting aspersions.
We would have people listening to the show who've caught a great white shark before.
I've no doubt. I'm just fascinated to know what are you fishing for when you've got line that heavy and gear that good that you can reel in a great white shark. And what did you do? If someone is listening that's got a story for us, please call us 82230000. How do you go about handling it safely? Yeah. Presumably not bringing it in the boat for a photograph is a good place to start.
Well, one of our texters said you're actually meant to take the hook off, meant to cut the hook off in the water, not pull it into the boat. So you meant to deal with the problem in the water rather than wait
Makes
for
sense.
it to... Yeah. It's probably better for everyone. Better for all concerned.
Yeah, I think so. Thank you for that text on the Duttons text line. Murrayland's Mazda get the best deals on the new and demo BT50 Utes. Duttons, they're easy to do business with. 0448 08 1395 is that number, or you can give us a buzz and tell us your story. Please do. If you're a fisher and you can help us out, we'd love to hear from you. 8223 0000. Pity it's not Thursday. I'm sure Matt Abraham would have some stories for us.
Well, we should give him a ring. He'd know. I reckon
Pirate Pete, his mate. He's often up early out there listening. We'll get to some of your thoughts on the Duttons text line in a moment. First a break and then news headlines.
You've never seen MasterChef like this.
I am in love.
Welcome to Hong Kong! It's Jamie Oliver.
MasterChef starts 7:30 tonight on 10 and 10 Play.
City Discount Tires. Get saving this month at City Discount Tires. When you buy 3 Falcon CT60 tyres, you'll get the 4th tyre free. The perfect tyre for crossovers such as Honda CR-V and Toyota RAV4. City Discount Tires are a proud multi-tyre and wheel brand retailer offering great service at great prices. Visit citydiscounttires.com.au to find your nearest store. City Discount Tires. We're driven by value.
City Discount Tires. Ever thought about what your dog's favourite charity might be? Well, chances are it'd be Guide Dogs SA&NT.
Of course it would be. This Wednesday is Guide Dogs Day. It's a day to celebrate the role Guide Dogs play supporting people with low vision or blindness to achieve their goals and live independently.
Dogs from all over SA will be lending a paw to raise money for Guide Dogs SA&NT. Every dollar helps to breed, raise and train more life-changing guide dogs.
And you can double your impact by donating this Wednesday, thanks to Adelaide Airport, Beyond Bank, Ord Minute and William Buck Foundation, the generous partners of Guide Dogs SA&NT, who'll match every dollar donated.
Let's get around these ordinary dogs that are doing some truly extraordinary things, becoming a guide dog. Go to guidedogsday.com.au and pledge now to give a dog $1.
Struggling with your CPAP therapy? Try the world's first auto-fitting mask from Fisher & Paykel Healthcare. Respirocare Healthcare is offering the Fisher & Paykel Sleep Style device for 30% off, plus a free solo mask valued at $310. Visit one of 6 Respirocare clinics and mention this ad to redeem this offer. Respirocare Healthcare, proudly serving South Australia for 20 years. When considering whether CPAP is right for you, speak to your doctor. Always follow the directions for use.
Having access to reliable healthcare services gives us all peace of mind. Too many South Australians living hundreds of kilometres from Adelaide have a local hospital that doesn't have enough nurses or midwives. Frightening?
Without state government action, we won't have the nurses and midwives needed to keep our regional hospitals running. Support those who care for us at regionalincentives.com.au. Authorised by EDBAR's ANMF SA branch Ridleyton.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube. The 5AA Player app lets you listen to all your favourite 5AA shows wherever you go.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
17 after 6 news headlines on this Monday morning. Still just 8.2 outside. That's probably the headliner, I think, that'll hit you as you get out of bed this morning. It feels like the real return to cool mornings all of a sudden that came over the weekend. But let's start at West Beach, where a teenager, as we've started the program talking about, was bitten by a shark. The teenager doing well in hospital, it should be noted, which is good news. The 16-year-old by the name of Nathan Ness was out fishing with his dad when they managed to catch and reel in a 6-foot white pointer. The pair were trying to release it from the boat, but it latched onto the teenager's leg. Paramedic Craig Murdy then treated Nathan and told 7 News that the incident could have been much worse.
The 16-year-old boy's actually got about 3 quite deep lacerations or teeth marked the lower leg. All the bleeding was controlled by the time we got here. First responders and the family had actually done a really good job.
We got a text from a couple of listeners saying apparently the family have said that they were fishing for sharks. That they were not great whites, obviously.
Because you're not allowed, that's totally illegal.
Yeah, but apparently there's a quote there saying, where is it? The Ness family's been going out on their boat to catch whiting, garfish and bronze whaler sharks, quote, because they're good eating for over a decade. I didn't know you could eat a bronze whaler. But,
flake?
Yeah. Flake.
Take it straight to the fish and chip shop.
Flaky shark, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Just a lot of beer batter on that one, I reckon.
Yeah, that's right.
How many people have got caught and eaten a bronze whaler that are listening? Come on, let us know. 8223 around 4,000 people have attended a vigil at Bondi Beach to commemorate the victims of the Bondi Junction massacre. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese and Premier Chris Minns addressed mourners at the candlelit ceremony, including hero police officer Amy Scott, who, of course, shot dead the attacker. The 9-month-old baby has been returned home, which is fantastic news. The 9-month, of course, stabbed during the rampage. Little Harriet discharged from the Sydney Children's Hospital after recovering from those wounds to her abdomen.
That poor dad.
Oh,
where do you start? You know, like, this baby is the first thing you need to wean it? Who knows? It's just terrible, isn't it?
It's so young.
Yeah. It's appalling.
Yeah.
That poor guy would just be sitting there going, right, what do I do now?
Yeah. Imagine what his life would have been like 2 weeks ago. Would have been thinking about, you know,
probably having another kid.
Holiday at the end of the year.
Yeah.
You know, maybe work-related stuff. And all of that stuff now would be so far from your mind.
Yeah.
It's all just total irrelevance. Yeah. The cost of living crisis has cast a gloomy outlook across the nation, which appears to be hitting the Albanese government. A poll conducted for the Sydney Morning Herald and The Age, so 9 newspapers, has seen Labor's primary vote drop from 32 to 30% over the past month.
30%.
Preferred PM, Anthony Albanese still leads 41-32. The survey shows 55% of voters would struggle to pay for a major expense, given their stretched finances. The news poll came out overnight. It's been very steady at the moment, which is the steadiness of it is actually a story in and of itself. So it's 51-49 again, news poll. We'll talk about it in more depth later. 51-49. But nothing seems to move it. We're adopting nuclear power, doesn't move it. We're fostering a Made in Australia new economic plan, doesn't seem to move it. Cost of living, tax changes, it's crusted at around this 51, 49, 52, 48 mark.
Maybe it also shows, though, that people know that they don't have to make up their minds yet.
Yeah, that's
middle
fair.
of the term, you just sort of go, news poll rang, whatever.
Yep.
I'll just stick to what I said last time. But the volatility will come, you think.
It seems it's been remarkably consistent.
But, geez, if Labor's primary vote is 30%, it shows that the Greens have got one hand on the wheel of government, because there's no way Labor's in power without them.
30%?
Yeah.
World leaders are gathering for the World Health Summit in Australia for the very first time. Stakeholders from all relevant sectors of global health are coming together to address strategies to improve global health in the Asia-Pacific region. Summit convener Jane Fisher says it's an opportunity to set the agenda for a healthier future right across the globe.
All of these separate insights, so people from different disciplines working in different contexts, each bringing their perspectives to these complex problems, allow new solutions to emerge.
And how's this? New data has revealed increasing levels of plastic in our drinking water. A study published by the University of Queensland, Dr. Elvis Akofo, reveals nanoplastics are being found in both municipal water sources and store-bought bottled water.
Nanoplastics?
Nanoplastics.
Like very small ones?
Yeah, very small.
Like imperceptible to the eye?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just floating around in your water. In your spring water.
While the wider-known microplastics measure up to 5 mils, nanoplastics are totally invisible. So microplastics you can see, nanoplastics you can't. No matter the water source they're appearing in there. That's curious. Out of the tap or indeed in bottled water.
How bizarre.
8.2 degrees outside at the moment. Beautiful day on the way, though. Top of 25 and sunny on the forecast. Tomorrow's going to be pretty good as well. 26 the expected top tomorrow. Then we get to Wednesday and things get cool right throughout the day. 18 the top on Wednesday. Overnight low of 11. So it won't be as cool as it is right now, but a cool day Wednesday. Thursday 19. Friday 19 the top. Saturday a low of 7 up to 18, but otherwise mostly sunny. And Sunday 21 and partly cloudy.
Will from Goodwood's texted in saying that Lee Matthews thought that it should have been a free to Draper at the end of the game. You know, I've got to say, hearing people talk about that free, we could have got a free dead in front. Like, it's just missing the main point of that game, which is not good enough. Don't you think? It really annoyed me seeing people on social media. It was like different last year where the Crows, they were such an irresistible team. They were a young team, taking risks, using the ball in an exciting way, highest scoring team in the comp. Brilliant to watch. That's why we got all these Friday night games this year, Thursday night games as well. But
they weren't even close.
What happened in round 23 last year, that was a moment which reflected the AFL's failure to invest in technology, the way they hung that umpire out to dry. That was a story. What happened in the final 10 seconds of the game on the weekend was totally irrelevant. And Crows fans who want to think, we were robbed again. No. How about you don't make about 50 fundamental mistakes?
Well, if Essendon kicked straight, the game's over a quarter earlier.
Yeah, totally.
They had 50% more inside 50s. It was a dominant performance. And the first 90% of that game, we never say it as fans, the Crows had the rub of the green with the umpires. Unbelievably.
Yeah.
It was one of the best home ground umpiring performances I've seen in a long time at Adelaide Oval until the end. That was a shocker. They stuffed it up. They missed it. But I wish, I'm like you. I wish I could live in a world where I thought, that's all that's standing between Adelaide and a win.
Yeah.
That was the only thing. Everything else was great.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't. It was a disaster. Tom Wren's in the studio to talk to us about that, the entire weekend, and his winners and losers. Thanks to Gliderol Garage Doors, adding strength, style, and safety to your home. Gliderol.com.au. Morning to you, Rennie.
Morning, Will. Morning, David. Yeah, I think you summed it up beautifully. We called the game, Campo, Rowie and I, and by no measure should the Crows have been within a kick. They should have lost by 7 or 8 goals, really. Yeah. They were bashed at stoppage. They got smashed with the inside 50s. And, they were, if not for a few great moments, the skipper carrying the side on his back for a good quarter or so, he was outstanding. Jordan Dawson, really, his best game for the year. But
that second quarter was electric.
He was brilliant, wasn't he? 31 touches and a couple of goals, I think he finished up with, so he was incredible. Jake Saligo, they're the shining lights. Saligo, brilliant.
Rankin.
Rankin's second half was much better, very quiet in the first half.
He started quiet.
But, it's not anywhere near where we thought the Crows were going to be 1-5. They're obviously one of our losers from the weekend, and look, we love him, and he's going to be a very good player for a long time, but unfortunately, Josh Rochelli probably had a couple of moments that he would want back, and he's going to, when you play Friday night football and you're in the public spotlight, your best moments are going to get glorified and highlighted, and your worst moments are going to get amplified and spotlighted, and he's in that boat this week.
It was all the talking point, all the footy shows over the weekend, wasn't it?
And look, he almost kicked the winning goal, and there was a mark that no one will talk about with about 1:40 to go, lead up, strong on the lead. It was really good. So in that moment, I was really impressed that he regrouped and, put his body on the line and did that. Everyone has a moment, and it's easy for us from the cheap seats,
sure.
who haven't played, and he'll be better for it. There's no doubt about that. But it wasn't a great sort of final 10 minutes or so for him outside of that. So that was not good for the Crows, and they've got North Melbourne this week, who they should beat, but their record down in Tassie is poor.
I think it's a real danger game.
So that's not good. Other loser, of course, is Port. I mean, first quarter and a half, you go, wow, how good, 31 points up. But a top four side doesn't give up a 12-goal turnaround in 2.5
Maybe they're not a top four side.
Exactly. Yeah. So
maybe they're kidding themselves too.
That was really bad, and it was the ease with which Collingwood did it.
Collingwood's really got their number, haven't they?
They do.
They really struggle to go blow for blow with that Collingwood side. Even they're not the Collingwood of mid last year.
No,
13, 14 wins in a row. Collingwood.
It's almost like it woke them up, though, isn't it?
It did.
And they went,
the sleeping giant.
All right, there's the muscle. Let's flex it, and they did. And it was scary how easily they did it. At halftime, you went, how did that happen? How are they behind? And then they were 7 goals behind at the end. So that's a concern. Other winners, positive, West Coast / Harley Reid, and by association, you have to say, was North Melbourne's round 24 win last year the worst win in the history of the competition?
I saw a stat, Rennie. I wish I wrote it down. It was something like that. North have won one of their last 17 games, but the game they won cost them Harley Reid.
Yeah.
What an unmitigated disaster.
Total.
That guy's a generational player.
He is absolutely he's already, you can see what a player like that does, the ripple effect it has on the rest of the Now, of course, it helps Elliot Yo's looking like he's back to his best. And, Tim Kelly's playing really strong football, and, that just feeds on itself. And Fremantle perhaps a bit banged up after 2 really heartbreaking losses over here, but they smashed them. They belted them, and Harley Reid, you're right. He's going to be scary for the next 10 or 15 years. I mean, they've got so much. If they can hold him, they've got so much to look forward to. That was a really impressive win. As a West Coast fan, they're waking up for the first time in 4 years today and going, this is good.
They got 2 wins.
And they got 2 more. It's twice as many as the Crows.
So twice as many, round 6, half as many wins as West Coast.
And the upside looks good for them, doesn't it? Yeah. Other winners, Max Verstappen, another win overnight. Casper Ruud won the Barcelona Open. Scotty Scheffler is about to win again. Stop playing.
He's
Scotty.
A machine.
He's a metronome. He's a robot.
You're not meant to win this often. No. I don't know anything about golf, Rennie. All I know is you don't win that often.
Especially the week after the Masters. The thing is, right, he's pretty boring. Yeah. He doesn't go out and party. He's into the church. He's into his family. And that's great.
The
he's
band
into
or
his
the institution?
The institution.
Okay.
And and so...
It's why I like John Daly.
Yeah, well, that's right. If John Daly had to win, write him off for the next 2 months because he's out partying the whole time and gambling.
Find him at Hooters.
Whereas Scotty, and God love him, and he hopes God loves him, he just gets straight back to work. And that's what makes him so good. He's
what a superstar.
He's a robot, so he'll win again. They've got a rain delay, but he'll win. Soccer fans, Manchester United, Man City, they're into the FA Cup final. And the only other loser, it wasn't a great weekend for our local sides. Adelaide Thunderbirds lost by a goal, so their first loss of the season. Probably the best result was Adelaide United's match getting postponed.
No loss.
No loss.
Only local side that didn't lose. Because Central Coast, they struggled to get back from...
Couldn't get back from Dubai.
But the Asian Cup game, the AFC Asian Cup, whatever it's called these days.
Hey, Con texted in too about the Olyroos, saying...
Yes,
how terrible.
Yeah. Should we not talk about the Olyroos?
They're a loser as well. Well done, Con.
Massive loser.
Failed to qualify for the Paris Olympics, did not score a single goal against Jordan, Indonesia and Qatar.
Yeah, it was
Meanwhile, there's a bloke called Nestor Irukunda here who didn't make the squad. Originally, it was in his own... best interest. Then they had a few injuries and they asked him to call up, and he sort of said, well, I'm kind of focused on Adelaide United now. They've stuffed that up royally. Tony Vidmar, love the Vidmar family.
Yeah.
Not his best work.
No, and that's a great shout out there by Con. 0 result this morning, so they miss out. I mean, that's
a disaster.
That is a total disaster.
All right, anyone got any good news, sports stories for us this morning? Did your local club win? Did a legend play 500 games? Anyone got something uplifting?
You'll notice I've been pretty quiet so far about the SANFL this year too.
Another loss of a Sturt, down by a goal. That was a great game.
Hey, I didn't see any of it, sadly.
No matter how you're feeling, think about this. It's minus 0.1 in Keith right now. So if you're living in Keith, not only have all your teams lost, but it's also minus 0.1.
He's got to warm up.
It could be worse.
Yeah.
Good on you, Rennie.
Thanks, boys. Thanks, Will.
This is 5AA News, always Adelaide.
25 and sunny today with the 6:30 news. I'm Lucy Loken.
Make RAA approved windscreen repairer Complete Windscreens your insurer repairer of choice. Visit completewindscreens.com.au.
A 16-year-old boy is lucky to have kept his leg after a 1.8 white pointer latched on at West Beach yesterday afternoon. Nathan Ness and his family were fishing 4 kilometres offshore when he reeled in the shark and brought it onto the boat. As his father tried to unhook the 6-foot fish, Nathan attempted to take a photo. It was then the shark swung around and put 3 deep lacerations into the teenager's leg. Dad Michael peeled the shark off and threw it back into the ocean before they met paramedics at the boat ramp. Nathan was taken to the RA and the Women's and Children's with only the leg injuries. Visitors to Lake Eyre could soon have to ask special permission to enter the lake bed on foot. A draft management plan is looking to recognise the attraction as a sacred and special site for Aboriginal people. If implemented, tourists would be encouraged to enjoy the park from a designated visitor area. Lake Eyre is Australia's largest inland lake, some 700 kilometres north of Adelaide. Thousands gathered at Bondi Beach last night to remember those killed in the stabbing massacre. Hero cop Amy Scott and Prime Minister Anthony Albanese were among the candlelit crowd. Speaking at the event, New South Wales Premier Chris Minns says at times of tragedy it is important for the community to come together.
Grief can be a terrible burden, but it doesn't have to be a lonely one. And there are millions of Australians that feel great sadness for your loss tonight, and they're in your corner in the days and weeks ahead.
Meanwhile, a man is in hospital after being stabbed outside a shopping centre in Melbourne's west. Police say he was knifed during a fight with another man who then fled the scene. World leaders are gathering for the World Health Summit in Australia for the first time. Stakeholders from all relevant sectors of global health are coming together to address strategies to improve global health in the Asia-Pacific region. Summit convener Jane Fisher says it's an opportunity to set the agenda for a healthier future right across the globe.
All of these separate insights, so people from different disciplines working in different contexts, each bringing their perspectives to these complex problems, allow new solutions to emerge.
Pop star Taylor Swift has broken streaming records following the release of her new album. The BBC's Charlotte Simpson with the story.
It was the surprise record that sent Swifties around the world into meltdown. I can read your mind. With double the number of songs fans had been expecting, the Tortured Poets department broke Spotify's record as the most listened to album in a single day, with Taylor Swift becoming the most streamed artist on the service in a single day too.
And social media platform X is still allowing users to upload and share distressing content from Sydney's stabbing attacks. The platform, formerly known as Twitter, has been ordered by the federal government to remove confronting and distressing posts. The eSafety Commissioner is also threatening fines and potential legal action. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Gliderol Garage Doors, adding strength, style and safety to your home. Gliderol.com.au.
It's a big good morning to Tom Wren.
And a very big morning to you as well, Lucy. Hope you're having a good one. It's a little bit chilly, but let's start with some footy. Port Adelaide's hopeful Jason Horne-Francis will be okay to tackle St Kilda for this Friday night's clash at home against the Saints. The 20-year-old midfielder finished the game against Collingwood on the bench, but the club says it was only some cramping. Meantime, Adelaide will get back Matt Crouch for its match against North Melbourne on Saturday in Tassie. That's after he served his one-match suspension. Well, meantime, Hawthorn coach Sam Mitchell is praising his players' response after last week's thumping loss to Gold Coast. Mitchell says the Hawks responded impressively after their 45-point win against North Melbourne.
They just left it all out there. There was so much ice and sore spots and had a really difficult week on the track, and the players drove that. You know, Dylan Moore's comments last week, James Sicily's comments. I think when you've got your leaders of your playing group who are not accepting of poor performance the way we had.
And there was one other game yesterday, and it was Sydney comfortably winning by 53 points against Gold Coast to cement their spot in the top 4. Let's go to soccer, and Liverpool has kept its EPL title hopes alive after a 3-1 win against Fulham. It was 1-1 at half-time, but the Reds sealed the result with 2 second-half goals.
And here is Diogo Jota for Liverpool, and that's the third goal they so desperately craved.
Yeah, audio there thanks to Optus. They're now 1 point clear along with Arsenal of Manchester City, who still have a game in hand, and they're going to be preparing for the FA Cup final against bitter rivals Manchester United. The Red Devils with a penalty shootout win against Coventry City in the semi-final. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now the 5AA forecast, 25 and sunny today, 26 partly cloudy tomorrow, 18 cloudy on Wednesday and 19 partly cloudy on Thursday. Right now it's 7. More news as it happens on 5AA.
The 5AA Player app lets you listen to all your favourite 5AA shows wherever you go.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
23 minutes to 7, some Dutton's texts coming through. One of them's a little bit sad. Sorry to hear this. Joe from Camden Park sent us a Dutton's text. Joe says, lads, I've been in a 33-year relationship where both parties have enjoyed the good times and the bad times, like any relationship, but in the last few years the relationship has become one-sided. I make all the commitments, disappointment after disappointment, and I'm exhausted. And that's why I've made the sad decision to file for divorce from the Adelaide Football Club. Hoping for a reconciliation should they change their selfish ways. Joe, I'm sorry to hear that.
Sounds like irreconcilable differences there, Joe.
It does, doesn't it?
Our heart goes out to you.
It is a quirk of modern Western society that there's nothing wrong with having a divorce, but there's everything wrong with divorcing your footy team.
It's funny, isn't it? You get judged. Like if you if you went into work today and said, you know what, I've decided, as Joe said, if Joe arrived in his office today
funny.
and said, I'm never going to a Crows game again, people would go, well, you're disloyal.
Yeah.
You know,
what's wrong with you?
You should stick it out through thick or thin. Yet your childhood sweetheart can be discarded to the dustbin of history. And everyone goes, oh, well,
Joe's back on the town.
Yeah, watch out.
Yeah,
watch
all right,
out.
dark horse.
Yeah, here he comes. Well, yeah, it worked on Friday.
Warp priorities.
Off the leash. Yeah, that's fine. It's funny, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's totally peculiar. George in O'Sullivan Beach has called into the show. Morning here, George.
Yeah, morning, guys. Yeah, my mum's partner before he passed away, he was an avid shark fisherman.
Where did he go to catch him, George?
He lived in Port Lincoln, so that was a good spot.
Yeah, not bad at all. Did he? So he caught him for the purpose of eating?
Yeah. He went out one morning, he was back an hour and a half, and Mum said, is the boat broken down? He goes, no, I got 6.
6?
Goodness. Bronze whalers, gummies, and one hammerhead. Just taking the fins off, skin them, and it's lovely fish to eat. There's no bones or anything in it.
Yeah. Thank you, George. Well, we've got
quite a few people texting in on the Dutton's text line saying that they eat bronze whale. I just presumed that you weren't allowed to. Certainly, bronze whalers, I thought they'd be protected, but apparently not.
Great whites are protected by the Fisheries Management Act. There's a penalty of up to 100 grand or 2 years imprisonment if you do the wrong thing. If you take them, harm them, harass great whites. But it doesn't sound like there's that kind of thing for the other members of the shark family. Dutton's text here from someone saying the bronze whaler is my favourite eating fish in the ocean. Delicious. Just don't invite them to the boat until they're dealt with. Yes, we've all learnt that story since yesterday's news out of West Beach. Hey, we've got a little game to play we like to call Nearest to the Pin.
Oh! There it is! 5AA's Nearest to the Pin for Live Golf Adelaide.
That's one of the great moments in Live Golf history.
We've got Live Golf tickets to give away, including the Ultimate Live Experience. Now, this often is a competition we run at 8 o'clock. We want as many people as possible to be part of it. But we don't forget the people, David, that call in and participate in the show before 7 o'clock as well. So we wanted to start the week by giving you guys a chance to get along to Live Golf. The prize includes 2 tickets for the Friday session. It's this Friday. We're going to be down there broadcasting the show. But also, you go in the running to win the Ultimate Live Experience, which contains 2 money can't buy tickets to the welcome party and 2 tickets to the garden at the watering hole. Live Golf Adelaide returns to the Grange Golf Course April 26 to 28. Limited tickets still available from livegolf.com. Get calling now, 8223 0000. Chat with Sam's on the phones out there at the moment, and Jono as well.
Our lines are open.
We're going to play a game of Nearest to the Pin. The question for Nearest to the Pin today, he was just in the studio with us, the godfather of Live Golf. Tommy Wren. The only reason that we have Live Golf here is because of Tom Wren.
Peter Malinauskas rang him when the idea was first proposed, and he thought, I know who I need to talk to. If there's a one-man sounding board to decide whether South Australia hosts Live or not, it is T. Wren.
If he said it was a dud, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now. So Tom Wren's the subject of our Nearest to the Pin this morning. Avid golfer, Rennie. Plays at Tea Tree Gully. That's his regular haunt.
Played there since he was a kid.
Played there over the weekend. What did Rennie score on the weekend?
Ooh.
What did Rennie score on the weekend?
He's good. Gully. He's normally pretty good, Tom.
Look at these. These tickets are very... Everyone wants to get on board for the live tickets.
He got a hole-in-one there a couple of years ago.
Well, did he get a hole-in-one this weekend? Let's start with Rhett Nottaway. Rhett, good morning to you.
Oh, morning. How you going, fellas?
Good, thanks, mate.
What do you think Rennie scored?
I reckon maybe a 76.
A 76. That would make Rennie pretty solid. Playing off scratch, what's that? 4 over, 5 over. Is it 71 or 72 at Tea Tree Gully? I think it's a 71 there. Yeah, it'd be 5 over. That'd be... I reckon Rennie would take that round. Trevor in Port Noarlunga South, good morning.
I reckon 79.
79, thank you, Trevor. Let's go to Monica. What do you reckon Rennie scored?
I reckon 80.
Rennie got an 80. All right. Trevor in Port Noarlunga South, good morning. You there,
I
Trevor?
reckon he got a... You've already told me, asked me.
Oh, have we?
Oh, yeah, no, we've done you, Trevor.
Sorry, Trevor, you didn't disappear off my board. Let's go to Colonel Light Gardens. Darren, good morning.
Yeah, I reckon he got 81.
81, thank you. It was a real cluster here. Late 70s, early 80s. Rennie's got a grin on his face. He's going to announce what the score is shortly. Peter and Ethelton, good morning.
I'll go low, and I'll go 73.
Oh, all right. I think that would be an exceptional round of golf. Jimmy, good morning. What do you reckon Rennie scored?
77.
77. So we've got a range of 73 to 80, I think. 73 to 80. Rennie's pointing to the sky. How did you go around on the weekend, Rennie?
Well, bearing in mind, I'm playing off, I think, 20 at the moment or 21. I'm sorry to disappoint all the listeners who think I'm a decent golfer. I had a 93.
93?
Okay,
oh, wow.
So off the stick, I had 93. Now, if you take the handicap off, I had a 72, but off the stick, which we're doing,
yes,
it's a 93.
Okay, so then who said 80?
No, there was an 81.
There was an 81.
Darren said 81.
Well, Darren, congratulations to you. Look, isn't it nice to know that people think so highly of you, Rennie?
Not anymore.
That gives me hope, Tom.
Yeah, exactly.
That gives me great hope. 93.
Absolutely,
Your swing looks beautiful, though, Rennie.
Oh, no. There's a lot of problems there.
Is there?
No hip rotation.
It looks very smooth to me.
Little arms, but just...
Do you get annoyed when you play badly? By your standards?
I'm not too bad. I sort of just go, you are what you are. I play with a couple that sometimes get a bit frustrated, and you do. You get annoyed sometimes, when you're just off the green for 2 and then you walk off with a 6 or a 7.
So how's this true story? A really good mate of mine plays in a regular 4 in Canberra. He was in Adelaide a couple of months ago, and he said, oh, have a look at this. And he lifted up his shirt. He had a bruise on him. It looked like it was about the size of a Sharon. It was just this gigantic black bruise. And I said, my God, mate, what happened there? And he said, oh, playing golf a couple of weeks ago, one of the guys in my 4, he got so angry, he missed a shot. He had a driver, like one of those fairway drivers, like a 5 or something. He just turned around and he threw the club. He let go of the club. He threw it as hard as he could. My mate Alex is standing about 40 metres away. Suddenly, he gets hit.
Wow.
By this driver.
You're kidding.
And they're all members at this club, quite an exclusive club in Canberra. And I just said, like, what? How old is this guy? He goes, he's our age. And I said, and he's in your group, so you're sort of mates with him. He goes, yeah, we golf mates. I said, like, are you going to keep playing with him? He goes, yeah, I think so. I said, what's everyone at the club saying? He said, oh, it's become this huge talking point. Like some people say you should be kicked out of the club. But what possesses someone to do that?
Yeah.
And I tell you, if someone threw a golf club at me in anger, I don't reckon I'd ever talk to them again.
That's crazy. That's crazy stuff.
It can get hold of you, the red mist, but no, I'm pretty good actually with it. And most people I play with are, but it can be a frustrating game, but not that bad.
Yeah,
you're out in the course.
You should just relax.
Yeah, just enjoy
the
weather.
Rennie, you're not a good barometer for this because it's a working theory that no one's ever seen you upset at all. So,
yeah.
So you're operating on a different plane to most people. Good on you, Rennie.
Thanks, boys. Good work.
All right, let's check traffic, and we'll come back with police and weather in just a moment.
Thanks, Will, and morning, David. She has Bruce Watermain Central today. Your fireman at Parracombe Gorge Road near Corkscrew Road, speeds reduced. Got another one at Clearview, Hampstead Road near Milton Avenue, and another one at FIVEAA, Glen Osmond Road near Bevington Road with a lane out of action. Camera-wise, few of them about 2, Cavan Road, Dry Creek, and Clark Road at Evanston Gardens. Save up to $999 on an Ultimate Luxe 4-night stay at the 5-star Fairmont Banff Springs. Book your Canada Winter Wonderland escape now at Flight Centre. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
For 40 years, Steinborner has been well worth the trip for a new, used or demo vehicle. Back in the day, Michael Steinborner opened Steinborner Holden with just 6 staff on a single site in Gawler. Now they have operations in Gawler, Clare and the Barossa Valley, employing and training around 100 staff, and continue to invest in local community groups with a focus on junior sports. Steinborner Automotive, celebrating 40 years of being well worth the trip for thousands of South Australians.
Still thinking about a sea change? Think Oakford Homes in Counter Bay. New stage released and selling fast. A variety of block sizes available in a friendly community with brand new low maintenance homes plus the beach close by. Affordable packages, no surprises. Move in now or invest for the future. Fixed price turnkey packages, flat land ready to build. Don't miss out. New stage now released. Visit our display village at Encounter Bay. Oakford Homes, a statement of quality. oakfordhomes.com.au.
Ken Plumbers have been serving Adelaide homes and businesses for 40 years, which is incredible, and they're obviously doing not just something, but many things right for South Australians.
That's right, and their success is proof of Ken Hall's commitment to great service, handpicking only the best people to be part of delivering the Ken Hall way of doing business.
The Ken Hall way runs through the entire family business from the moment you pick up the phone to the completion of all works.
He's a great guy, Ken. We've met him a lot of times, and you know, he runs this organisation with great professionalism. Ken Hall Plumbers, they've grown from very humble beginnings, but they now offer a greater range of trade services, including electricians, roofers, tilers, general builders, home maintenance and full bathroom renovations.
If you haven't experienced the Ken Hall service and their team of trades, keep them top of mind for any plumbing issues. In fact, anything to do with plumbing, electrical, roofing, tiling, home maintenance, you name it, full bathroom renovations, in fact, give Ken a call 24/7 or visit kenhallplumbers.com.au.
Slow down. You in some kind of hurry?
Yep, I felt like life was getting away from me. These new shoes are letting me catch up again. I just feel like I've got more energy.
Well, they're worth it. Where'd you get them?
At Gilmore's. They even measured my feet like when we were kids.
I used to love that. Extra energy, hey?
Ross loves it. He's heading to Gilmore's this afternoon.
Maybe I should join him.
How about you take your own husband instead?
Oh, haha.
Gilmore's Comfort Shoes, South Road, Melrose Park, opposite Castle Plaza.
What's got Mike singing? Mike just got an energy-efficient heat pump installed by EcoVantage. Not only is it using nearly 80% less energy than his old hot water system and saving hundreds off his power bills, he got it for free. Thanks to federal and SA government incentives, you can get your own energy-efficient heat pump from just $0. Pump your energy bills down with EcoVantage. Visit ecovantage.com.au.
The 5AA Player app lets you listen to all your favourite 5AA shows wherever you go.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
11:07, let's check in with the Weather Bureau this morning because it is a cool one. Not as cool anywhere as it is in Keith. It's negative, minus 0.1 there this morning. Here it's cool. Dominic Panucci will tell us just how cool at the Weather Bureau. Morning to you, Dominic.
Good morning.
How cool did we get down to overnight?
Well, in the city it got down to 6.3 degrees at 4:45 this morning, making it the lowest April temperature we've seen in 9 years since 2015.
Wow.
In the northern suburbs it was even colder. It got down to 2.5 degrees at Parafield Airport and 5.0 at Edinburgh. And still in the city it's only 6.8 degrees right now, so it is a very cold start to the day.
They've been such beautiful days, though, haven't they, Dom? I guess that's the thing. The lack of cloud cover explains why it's so lovely and warm during the day, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Lack of cloud cover, light winds, and the heat sort of gets lost overnight. But that means during the day, when the sun comes up, it's a beautiful day. So there is a reward for enduring the cold start. So, warm and sunny days both today and tomorrow. We're looking at a top temperature today of 25 degrees. Then there'll be a light to moderate northerly breeze for tomorrow morning, so it shouldn't be anywhere near as cold. We're looking at this stage at a minimum for the city of 14 degrees. And then a slightly warmer day with a top temperature of 26 degrees. There's a fresh south to southwesterly wind change expected, though, late tomorrow afternoon. So that'll bring a cool change, just a slight chance of seeing a brief light shower, particularly about the hills and maybe the southern suburbs following the change late in the afternoon and into the evening. But any showers that do develop, if they do, should clear by the early hours of Wednesday morning. We're expecting conditions to remain dry over the Adelaide Plain, so a top temperature for Wednesday, it will be much cooler, 18 degrees. And then heading into Thursday, we're looking at a low of 10, then a top of 19 degrees. Again, couldn't rule out another shower or two developing most likely during the day for Thursday, just with a weak tail end of a front that are passing through the area, but then clearing up for the end of the week and into the weekend. And, still in the low teens for Friday and Saturday, but getting up to 21 at this stage on Sunday.
Good stuff, Dominic. Thank you. Dominic Panuccio from the Bureau of Meteorology. Let's head over to SAPOL. Senior Constable Kimberly Broad on the line. Kimberly, Pole Air was up overnight tracking a motorcyclist.
Yeah, good morning. A patrol initially spotted a Ducati motorcycle which was travelling at speed. It was on Kingfisher Drive at Modbury Heights about 12:20 this morning, and so patrols alerted Polair. They were quickly overhead and actually found the motorcycle still riding around the Modbury Heights area, and it was tracked until it was stopped in Pelham Court about 12:30 this morning. So Polair continued to direct the patrols on the ground, who located the alleged rider hiding in a bush in Mary Jane Court. So that man's a 32-year-old from Salisbury Heights. He's been reported for a number of traffic offences, including riding unlicensed, unregistered and insured. His motorcycle's been impounded and he'll be summoned to appear in court at a later date.
And Kimberley, also there's been a serious crash in the Barossa overnight.
Yeah, this was just after 10 o'clock last night. Police and emergency services were called to Eden Valley Road at Taunton after reports a Holden sedan had crashed into a tree. Now, that impact caused significant damage to the front of the car and the driver was trapped inside. So that driver was the sole occupant of the car. She's a 22-year-old woman from Tanunda. She did sustain some serious injuries in the crash and had to be airlifted to Adelaide for treatment. But it doesn't appear that those injuries are life-threatening at this time. But Barossa Police attended to investigate the circumstances surrounding that crash. But if anyone has any information, they can give police a call via the Crime Stoppers number 1800 333 000.
Good stuff, Kimberley. Thank you. Kimberly Broad there from SAPOL.
6 to 7. Let's head off to the US. Tim Lester for 7 News at the US Bureau joins us. Tim, bit of reaction out of Russia to this big spending bill, ostensibly for support for Ukraine, that also includes some pretty important billions of dollars for the AUKUS deal. What have they said about it?
Well, they're particularly obviously interested in the US spending on Ukraine. The US, the superpower sponsor for Ukraine's war effort against Russia, hadn't really resupplied Ukraine since the end of 2022, to the point where Ukraine's troops have been rationing ammunition now for months, particularly short of artillery shells, of tanks, of the ammunition needed to conduct the air defence that's obviously very important when Russia attacks Ukrainian cities. Russia now is saying that essentially that the US is supporting terrorism as it sees it. It says that the US is indirectly now in the war against Russia, and it also, the foreign ministry through a spokesperson has essentially said the US will finish as it did in Vietnam and Afghanistan. In other words, saying that it's headed for a big military embarrassment at the end of the day. So US-Russia relations probably as bad as they've been in 50 years.
So, Tim, this bill, this aid bill, could it outlast the Trump presidency? Because Trump's been quite sort of sceptical about ploughing endless amounts of money into the war effort there. Does this lock the US into continuing support beyond November this year?
No, I don't think it does, but it was desperately needed now, and it was very interesting to see the Speaker of the House of Representatives, a Republican and a Trump ally, make a trip down to Mar-a-Lago to see Donald Trump before he pushed this through the House. Makes you wonder the extent to which he went to prep Trump or get him okay or on the page for this. Donald Trump, of course, has been saying for months now that he in the White House would end this war overnight. Many suspect, of course, that means he'd hand Russia a deal that it'd take, taking perhaps 20% of Ukraine in the short term, and then potentially just re-attacking again years down the track.
Tim, thank you. Tim Lester for 7 News in the US Bureau there. You'll see all the pictures and Tim's full report on 7 News tonight.
We're getting quite a lot of texts asking about how it was that this great white shark actually ended up inside the boat of Nathan Ness's family, with quite a few fishos saying that under the law, you're not actually meant to have a great white shark on board ever. Texts like this one from Raymond saying, here's an interesting tidbit for you in regard to the boy whose leg was bitten by the white shark. White sharks are protected here in SA and in fact Australia-wide. They cannot be removed from the water, and being in possession of a great white or any part of it attracts fines of up to $100,000 or 2 years imprisonment. So we're certainly, given what this family's been through, we're not advocating or suggesting that that's what they deserve. Some people seem to be suggesting it, though, if that is indeed the case.
We'd be fascinated to chat with some people who do go fishing for sharks. That's what this family was doing. If you're a fisherman that's been out there, and maybe you, like many of our texters in the first hour, catch bronze whalers for the purpose of eating them or whatever it might well be, how do you typically handle a shark? What happens if you get a great white up around the boat? Give us a buzz and let us know, 8223 0000.
And we're talking before about how it is that if you walk away from your football club, you are judged for disloyalty.
Yes.
However, you can, wake up on the wrong side of the bed after many years of marriage and casually ditch your husband or your wife. Will from Goodwood putting it in that context, saying, I couldn't agree more, re the footy breakup. When the drug saga hit Essendon, my then 8-year-old daughter asked me why our team takes drugs. Then, following the Bombers diligently seemed irrelevant, so I walked away from them. But after hooking back up Friday night, we might be back on now. Good on you, Will.
5AA News time, back with our morning wrap of the stories next.
City Discount Tires. Get saving this month at City Discount Tires. When you buy 3 Falcon CT60 tyres, you'll get the 4th tyre free. The perfect tyre for crossovers such as Honda CR-V and Toyota RAV4. City Discount Tires are a proud multi-tyre and wheel brand retailer offering great service at great prices. Visit citydiscounttires.com.au to find your nearest store. City Discount Tires. We're driven by value. City Discount Tires.
Having access to reliable healthcare services gives us all peace of mind. Too many South Australians living hundreds of kilometres from Adelaide have a local hospital that doesn't have enough nurses or midwives. Frightening? Without state government action, we won't have the nurses and midwives needed to keep our regional hospitals running. Support those who care for us at regionalincentives.com.au. Authorised by EDBARS ANMF SA Branch Ridleyton.
Elvis, A Musical Revolution, has been delighting audiences, playing to standing ovations and rave reviews at Her Majesty's Theatre all month, so don't miss it before it leaves Adelaide this Sunday.
Some mates of mine went and saw this the other night and said it's superb. This high-energy production is a rock and roll fever dream, celebrating the life and music of global superstar, the King, Elvis Presley, with over 40 iconic songs, including Burning Love, Jailhouse Rock, Viva Las Vegas, Return to Sender and more.
With an all-star Australian cast, dazzling choreography and hit after hit, you simply can't help but fall in love. But hurry, Elvis must close this Sunday, April 28. Tickets start from just $69, so get those blue suede shoes ready and get your tickets now from Ticketek.
Up-to-the-minute news for South Australia. This is 5AA News, always Adelaide.
25 and sunny today with the 7 o'clock news. I'm Lucy Loken. Chipped windscreen? RAA approved repairer Complete Windscreens repairs it from just $99. Find the big red koala.
A teenager bitten by a shark at West Beach yesterday afternoon has spent the night at the Royal Adelaide Hospital with leg injuries. 16-year-old Nathan Ness was out fishing with his dad at the Glenelg Tyre Reef when they managed to catch and reel in a 6-foot white pointer shark. The pair were trying to release it from the boat, but it latched onto the teenager's leg. Paramedic Craig Murdy treated Nathan at the West Beach boat ramp, and he told 7 News the incident could have been much worse.
The 16-year-old boy's actually got about 3 quite deep lacerations or teeth marked the lower leg. All the bleeding was controlled by the time we got here. First responders and the family had actually done a really good job.
Nathan's father managed to get the shark off his son's leg before they threw it back in the ocean. Polair were active in Modbury Heights overnight, pursuing a speeding motorcyclist. The bike was tracked for about 10 minutes just after midnight until it came to a stop in Pelham Court. Patrols on the ground located the alleged rider hiding in a bush on a neighbouring street. The 32-year-old Salisbury Heights man was reported for riding unlicensed, unregistered and uninsured. He'll appear in court at a later date. It's been a chilly start to the day, with the mercury falling to 6.3 degrees in the city. Dominic Panuccio from the Weather Bureau says that is the lowest April temperature in 9 years.
And in the northern suburbs, it was even colder. It got down to 2.5 degrees at Parafield Airport and 5.0 at Edinburgh. And still in the city, it's only 6.8 degrees right now. So it is a very cold start to the day.
South Australians are calling for tougher penalties for young criminals. Latest data shows abductions and harassment rates have more than doubled in a year. Robberies and sexual assaults have surged also by more than 40%. Laws making it more difficult for teenagers to get bail will soon go before Parliament. A large crowd has gathered in Sydney's east to honour the 6 people killed in a knife attack at Bondi Junction, Westfield. Leaders joined community members at a candlelit vigil at Bondi Beach, including the police officer who shot dead the knife-wielding attacker. Many Bondi residents, though, are still in shock 10 days later.
It's a little bit confronting in a way, but, brings everyone closer together and communities can lean on one another.
It's just so very sad.
And a shock to everyone, I think,
Just to show that we all need to come together and keep living, and we can't allow things like this to divide us.
Meanwhile, images of 12 men have been released by New South Wales Police, who are investigating last Monday's riot, which followed the terror attack at a church in Sydney's southwest. 3 men have already been charged over the fray and remain before the courts. And to Victoria, accused mushroom triple murderer Erin Patterson returns to court today. The 49-year-old was charged with 3 counts of murder and 5 of attempted murder in November after serving a beef Wellington to her lunch guests that contained death cap mushrooms. She's been in custody since being arrested over the deaths of 3 former in-laws. Very shortly we will be getting to Tom Wren. It was a big weekend in the footy here in Adelaide, although both Port and Crows lost their matches this round. But to tell us more shortly will be Tom Wren in a moment.
Colours, custom design, any house, any style. Gliderol Garage Doors. Gliderol.com.au.
Morning, Rennie.
Morning, Lucy. Sorry I was leaving you hanging there, but I got in here eventually, so I got there. Sorry about that. Let's start with a bit of footy, shall we? You're spot on. It was a bad weekend for both SA clubs. Adelaide's players will have a light run at West Lakes this morning. Keen to put the disappointment of Friday night's loss to Essendon behind them. The Crows are sitting in 15th spot after round 6 with just the 1 win. Port has dropped outside the top 4 after being spanked by Collingwood by 7 goals and will also hold a light training run around lunchtime. And there were 2 games to wrap up round 6 yesterday. Sydney jumping up to second with a 53-point thumping of Gold Coast, while Hawthorn, they were too good for North Melbourne, winning by 45 points. Well, Max Verstappen has extended his lead at the top of the Formula 1 standings following a commanding win at the China Grand Prix overnight. He finished a whopping 13 seconds clear of Lando Norris, while Sergio Perez, who's second in the championship, finished in 3rd place. Aussie Oscar Piastri was back in 8th, while fellow Aussie Daniel Ricciardo was putting together a good race, but was forced to retire after Lance Stroll had a brain fade and drove straight into the back of him.
But that was Daniel Ricciardo that got hit.
Poor Daniel, that's a rough end to the weekend.
Yeah, not good. Let's go to soccer. Manchester United will take on Man City in the FA Cup final. That's after the Red Devils survived a massive scare to win their semi-final clash against Championship side Coventry. That was in penalties.
This can win it, and it does! United will play City. It's a Manchester FA Cup final again.
Yeah, can't wait for that. Meantime, Liverpool is now equal top in the English Premier League after a 3-1 win against Fulham. And in some tennis to finish, Norway's Casper Ruud has won the Barcelona Open after beating Stefanos Tsitsipas in straight sets. Luce, I know you love your tennis. That is the 5AA sport.
I do indeed. Thank you, Tommy. Now checking 5AA traffic.
If it's Yamaha music, it has to be Derringer's music. Home, school or stage. Visit Derringer's today.
Morning then, not looking too bad on the roads. Heap of burst water mains to keep in mind. You'll find one at Clearview today, Hampstead Road near Milton Avenue. Another one at Frueville. This one's on Glen Osmond Road near Bevington Road with speeds reduced. And another burst at Paracombe. That's on Gorge Road near Corkscrew Road. Starting to get busy at Glenside for works. Fullerton Road near Greenhill Road with the camera this morning. St Kilda Road at St Kilda. This April, Bob Jane T-Marts have great buy 3, get 1 free plus instant cashback deals. With 15 stores located in Adelaide, they'll look after you. T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the forecast, 25 and sunny today, 26 partly cloudy tomorrow, 18 cloudy on Wednesday and 19 partly cloudy on Thursday. Right now it's 6 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Stay informed, get involved. 5AA, always Adelaide.
Come on, rise and win. The 5AA Player app lets you listen to all your favourite 5AA shows wherever you go.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
7 after 7, good morning to you. If you're waking up and feeling cool, there's a reason. Coolest April night in 9 years last night. Negative in Keith, down to just over 2 degrees in the northern suburbs, 6 in the city. It was a cool one, warming up a little bit. Going to be a beautiful day on the way today, though. We started the morning talking about this, to call it a shark attack would be over-egging it slightly. This family that went shark fishing on the weekend got a great white in the boat, took the hook out, taking a photo of it, turned around and bit a young man's leg. Have a listen to his father speaking to the assembled media yesterday.
My son hooked up to a big shark and he wound it up to the boat. Then he went down and grabbed its tail, pulled it into the boat, and I went and got a pair of pliers and pulled the hook out of its mouth. Then he went to pick up the shark to get a photo and let it go. And as he went to do that, the shark swung around and grabbed hold of his leg and took a big gash out of his leg. So then I reached in, grabbed its mouth, pulled its mouth open, and it let go, and he let the shark... He let go of the shark and it fell into the water. I was pretty worried that the shark wasn't going to let go and that I could see fat sort of on either side of its teeth from his leg, and I was pretty scared actually. He just said, get it off, and that's when I reached down, pulled its mouth open, and we're just lucky that it let go instead of twisting, which could have taken a chunk out of his leg.
You see, his sister said he was pretty brave.
Nathan wasn't really making any scared noises or anything. He was just like trying to be really calm.
I tell you, I'd be making some scared noises. Stephen Rowe's in the studio with us. He's in because they've got a big name that they're going to be chatting with tonight on the sports show. So he's in very early today. I don't want to reveal it, Rowe, unless you want to.
Cam Smith.
Cam Smith, one of the biggest names in the world of golf.
Who is a massive fisherman who actually, when he plays on certain courses in live golf, has a fly fishing rod just in his bag, and he's been known to get it out and go trout fishing.
No.
Well, he earns $100 million.
You can do whatever the hell he wants.
You can do whatever the hell you want.
Trout. Does he do ocean fishing as well?
He does all of that. Well, I'm going to invite him at the end of the show to go whiting fishing tomorrow, or we'll go and get that juvenile great white.
Well, so we wanted to, we usually do our sport chat with you. We wanted to get you in as part of our news wrap too.
Yeah.
You ever had a white pointer on the line?
I've had them. No, I've not. I've been out to Neptune Island. I've seen them. An unbelievable experience. If you haven't, do it. I've also had one swim behind the boat, roll, his big grey eye look at me. I threw a burley bucket at him, hoping he'd take it, then I could have a bit of a fight with him. He didn't, donged him in the head and off he went. They are by stealth the scariest things in the water. I used to swim with my kids out near the Tyre Reef. If it was hot, 40 degrees, in you go, swim around the boat, get back on. No, not now. Now we're talking, my daughter's 30, so we're probably talking 25 odd years ago. They're now prolific. They are scary. And a good great white, for me, is a dead one. Now, I know that's not going to be popular. We should be culling them. There's too many of them. No, I don't know whether Nigel will be happy. Oh, we'll get to that. I don't know whether Nigel will be happy. But that juvenile great white, Nigel, I think he was out in his canoe with a mate, and it looked, I mean, a shark's a shark, but the same size, about 2.5 metres. Was that what that one was?
They haven't said.
He saw that one at Merino Rocks.
He reckons
on the weekend. No, I've got a
really?
video
He
on
saw
our
it.
WhatsApp.
Nigel Smart.
I've got a video on our WhatsApp, which and there's a.
You're not meant to get him in the boat, are you?
No, we're not allowed to catch them.
You're not meant to catch them at all.
Well, it's quite fortuitous.
You're meant to cut them, aren't you meant to cut them off when they're in the water? Cut the hook off, leave it in their mouth?
Leave it in their mouth. Live Golf's in town. Greg Norman caught the last great white shark off of Port Lincoln that you were allowed to. From that moment on, there's a moratorium on them, can't catch them, and they are breeding up prolifically. They're the apex predator. There's no one can catch them.
Yeah, but we need apex predators, don't we? I mean, if you take
what to eat us?
Well, no. Well, you take one species out, you're going to get too many other things. It'll get all out of kilter.
Well, look, I don't know the science behind it. I'd love to get a person on it. We're getting Ed McHenry to do so. He's got his fishing show on Tuesday.
But don't you reckon, Ray?
Where are we with great white sharks? Are there too many of them?
Well, statistically, how many people die on the roads versus in the sea? And the other thing too, it's actually possible to go swimming where there are great white sharks, and they're not necessarily going to attack you. They're not like saltwater crocodiles, where they'll just do it for fun and keep you under a log for safekeeping.
If you're a fisher and you see how many are out there, you'd be a bit scared if you had kids or grandkids.
Yeah, but you're way out in a boat.
Do you swim at all, Digger?
Yeah.
Oh, no, they come in close.
Oh, but I don't go out above my waist.
Who's the rooster got bit in half off that jetty not far from you? Famous bloke. Oh, God.
Rodney Fox.
Rodney Fox.
That was in a spearfishing competition. Well, I wouldn't swim off the reef. There's no way I'd walk out to the edge of the Aldinga Reef and jump in the deep bit, where there's like squid and all the food that great whites love. But it is like tens of thousands of people swim at Aldinga every year.
Yeah. But as for
if you
sharks,
don't go out too far, there's no issue.
Driving in, most of the fish and chip shops that you buy fish and chips are shark.
Yeah, it's flake, isn't it?
Yeah. It's good to cook with. It's good
it's
solid meat for curries.
A lot of listeners say they enjoy it. They enjoy it.
Mate.
Hey, just quickly while we've got you.
No, not this. No, can't.
To say, it feels a bit like being in the jaws of the shark, out two footy sides. Well, one of them feels like they got a chomp taken out of them. The other one feels like they've been bitten in half. Just to continue a pretty grotesque analogy.
Well, I'll start with Crows. I'm blaming the AFL why the Crows lost. They were one midfielder away. They were one midfielder away. Matt Crouch, the way he got reported and the reason he wasn't in the team was one of the reasons that we got beat. The better team beat us, but we couldn't win the ball. We couldn't get it forward. Matt Crouch is good like that. I'm not going to speak 1 second about that free kick, whether it was or it wasn't. It actually was, and they would have paid it in the first quarter. Why not the last? But that wasn't the reason we lost. And the better team won, and the better team, which isn't a great team, beat my team, which is at the moment
Rowie,
not a good team.
How can we be here after, 6 years of rebuild at home against a team that's probably going to come 12th and go, well, the better team won, and it wasn't the Crows?
No, I know. Well, why don't you ask your dad? He's on the board.
Don't worry.
And don't you laugh. Your wife's been on it, so she's part of the problem.
There have been some robust text exchanges.
No, you're both part of the problem. I'll tell you what.
For not harassing immediate members of our family over it.
No. Have your immediate members of your family questioned the list build, the list manager, who's in charge of it, Roo's role on it? Do they?
I don't know what they do when they're in a board meeting.
I wouldn't dream of asking.
They don't say. They're not allowed to. But what I do know is every member of the public comes up to them saying, what in the hell's wrong with your list manager? What in the hell's wrong with your coach? And why did they extend him?
Well,
so
there you go.
The message is getting there.
Well, this weekend, the general manager of footy, Grant Kelly, was on a radio station and said, we have the utmost faith
Adam
in our
Kelly.
list. Adam Kelly. Who'd I say?
Grant Kelly.
Adam Kelly. Grant owns the 36ers, dear mate. So he says that in one interview, nearly exact the same time the CEO says, we are going to be that aggressive, and the industry knows how aggressive we're going to be in the trade period. Why don't you walk with a little stick instead of running around with a big one? You get players by stealth, and you get them by working on them for 3 years. You get it by having a strategy, and the strategy is midfields win premierships. Classy midfielders you need in your midfield. We're not. We're pedestrian. And don't think Rankin's the answer. He will be at bits and pieces, and 2 touches to half-time, 80% midfield time. So get off that plane.
Better when we're talking about that shark, I thought.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Hey,
well, you asked the question.
No.
I was happy to walk out and do Cam Smith.
No,
He's on now.
no, it needs to be said. Everyone's waking up on a Monday morning feeling the same way.
What about Port?
I tell you what, Port, I'm not going to say they have a soft underbelly, but when challenged, they don't know yet still, under Ken Hinkley of 10 years, how to respond as a collective and as a team. And I think that is an unbelievably big problem. And in his presser, he still said, we're still trying to find the answers. Hello? Hello? That was a really, really bad loss after quarter time.
Port's reality seems to be they're probably a fair way off the top four. Adelaide's reality is they might be slightly better than North. So, there's both ends of the court.
Are you calling that game with me Saturday?
Yeah, I am.
North in Hobart, I swear. I said the top turnbuckle, the solar plate, that's the game. North in Hobart.
Just last before we go, did West Coast finish ahead of the Crows this year?
No. How good's that kid?
Okay.
How dumb were North? Won one game in 19.
Yeah.
The game they won put them to second bottom, and West Coast get handed probably a generational player.
Disaster. Good on you, Rowie. Good to have you in, mate. Shark expert, fishing expert, lifestyle expert, but also our...
I don't know about shark expert.
Footy expert.
He's our own Vic Hislop. Kill 'em all!
Cam Smith is going to be on the program tonight. Timmy G's in the studio next to us. They're interviewing him in just a moment. You'll get to hear that. There is an opportunity for fans to meet Cam Smith and Mark Leishman in Rundle Mall today. This is great. These guys are world-class golfers. Sorry, it's tomorrow. That come into Adelaide and they make themselves available to the public and the media as well. 12 to 1 p.m. at the Gawler Place Canopy in Rundle Mall. So how good's that? Cam Smith and Mark Leishman in Rundle Mall tomorrow. We're going to take a quick break. We'll check traffic and we'll come back with some more news for you in just a moment.
Thanks, Will. She's a burst water main trifecta this morning. Your fireman at Clearview, Hampstead Road near Milton Avenue. Got another one at Frueville, Glen Osmond Road near Bevington Road. Got a lane out of action there. And another one at Parracombe. This one's at Gorge Road near Corkscrew Road. So a little bit out of the way. No great delays, but keep it in mind. We are getting busy at the moment, South Road at Theberton, and do have a camera at Clark Road at Evanston Gardens. Switch to AGL Electricity and you can receive a $200 bill credit on an electricity plan. Switch to AGL today. Full T's and C's at agl.com.au. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
5AA Mornings with Matthew Pantelis.
There will be a full-day strike on Thursday, May the 2nd. The night of Thursday, May 2nd is the showdown between Port and the Crows. Tom Koutsantonis, the Transport Minister, does the government have any levers to pull in this?
No, and this is the great frustration the government is feeling.
Matthew Pantelis.
This goes to show why essential services should never, ever be sold.
Weekday mornings from 9 on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
Join the great cover-up and get a Walco Guardian pool cover. Made right here in SA, a Walco Guardian pool cover will preserve your chemicals, keep your water clean, and you won't need to run your pump. Put your pool to bed for winter. Visit walco.com.au.
G'day everyone, Cornsey here. Now I know a great team when I see one, and the South Australian hydraulic team I rate the highest is BL Shipway. The Shipway team are the best in the business. They've been looking after your hydraulic and pneumatic needs since 1953 with brands like Ryco, Rexroth, Enerpac, Hydac, Oilpath, EasyFit and many more. If you can't get to them, they'll send a Ryco 24/7 van to you anytime, anywhere. blshipway.com.au. A South Australian team you can count on.
Now, kick off Live Weekend with a night at the Angle Park Greyhounds with the 2024 Anniversary Cup this coming Thursday.
Promises to be a huge night of greyhound racing with SA's second richest final, the 2024 Anniversary Cup and the SA Distance Championship.
Now, book in for a 3-course meal at Chase's Restaurant. I love that restaurant, so good, for just $40 per person, which is great value. Get in early, book now, visit chases.net.au.
Gates open 5:30 p.m. General admission is just a gold coin donation with food vans, bar and free kids entertainment all trackside.
Love a night at the Dish Liquors, plus you can putt for your chance to win a heap of prizes.
It's all happening this Thursday night at Angle Park. Gamble responsibly.
What's on your bucket list? Skydiving? Swimming with dolphins? Hot air ballooning? Before you plan a bucket list, plan your will with Donlan Lawyers. A will, power of attorney and advanced care directive speak for you when you can't. It means you and your loved ones will be taken care of. Visit donlanlawyers.com. Put it on your bucket list. Hindmarsh Square, Adelaide, and Ocean Street, Victor Harbour.
The biggest threat to your business isn't your competition. It's cybercrime. Cybercrime threats impacting Australian businesses large and small continues to grow year on year. One call to one solution will put your business in a safe place and save you from the devastating consequences of cybercrime. It's the smartest, most cost-effective business decision you'll ever make. Stay safe and protected. Get in touch with One Solution. onesolution.net.au, a Platinum Telstra partner.
Join over 60,000 Adelaide homes and say yes to lowering your energy bills with Yes, your energy saving solutions. Yes offers a range of money-saving solutions to upgrade your home and downgrade your energy bills. With subsidies on ceiling insulation, air conditioning, hot water services and LED lighting installations, rebates on new appliances and incentives for recycling your old fridges, it's easy to say yes to Yes. Find out more about your energy saving solutions. Go to yess.net.au.
Rosanna Mangiarelli here from 7 News. Join me and Will Goodings for Adelaide's leading news hour, 7 News, tonight at 6 o'clock.
The 5AA Player app lets you listen to all your favourite 5AA shows wherever you go.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
22 minutes after 7. Stacey Lee coming up after 7:30. How many of our listeners have been on Lake Eyre? It may be a bit like climbing Uluru into the future. People are going to be banned from entering the lake bed on foot without permission under a draft management plan that recognises the importance of the attraction as a special and sacred site to Aboriginal people. It's the largest inland lake in the country. A couple of times a century, it'll flood and create an incredible tourist attraction. The plan is designed to help owners manage the attraction. It doesn't sound like it's necessarily going to be a complete ban like Uluru. It's probably a false equivalency.
The other part of it too is that unlike Uluru, which back in the day when everyone knew it as Ayers Rock, and we had that great call from the lady who worked there at one of the hotels that was at the base of the rock for years. Climbing Ayers Rock, as it was known, was a rite of passage. I mean, I reckon we've probably got listeners who down the bottom of their sock drawer would have the old T-shirt, "I climbed Ayers Rock." It was the must-have item of clothing for everybody who'd travelled to Central Australia. The difference is, I don't think anyone walks in Lake Eyre anyway, because you basically can't, because it's covered with this gypsum. It's got gypsum, which is the stuff you use as clay breaker in the garden, but it sets like glass.
Right.
So if you actually walk out there at the moment, you cut your feet to shreds anyway. So it's not like it's something
different.
You know, have you met many South Aussies who said, "Oh yeah, I've done the Lake Eyre walk"?
No, it's not as popular in that way. But they do helicopter trips and things, don't they, out there? You can go and fly over, and
I don't think there's any threat to that. It'll still annoy people, though, the idea that the local, Lands Trust can say, "No, you're all banned." But I think white Australia in this case is being banned from something that it's
not that excited about.
Not really doing anyway.
The other thing that is knocking around this morning is a news poll, notable for its lack of movement. Just came out overnight. Federal two-party preferred remains at 51-49. The AOPL primary vote, which was copped a whacking by virtue of the 9-paper poll that came out over the weekend, is actually slightly up. Both the major parties are up. 33 the AOP, 38 the LNP. The Greens losing a point, and One Nation at 7. Preferred PM Anthony Albanese remains steady at 48. Peter Dutton gained a point at 35. I mean, you could... The glass half full and glass half empty members of each major party can have a field day with this, can't they? Because you can read into it and say, well, none of our sins have really been fatal. But you can also say none of the measures designed to attract votes and move opinion have been particularly successful either.
No, there's been no shift. No one's been energised or super impressed by anything that they've seen either from the...
It's a good way of putting
the coalition or the
No one's been super impressed.
No.
So it's 51-49 now. It was 51-49 last time, 52-48 the time before that, to give you a sense of how steady opinion has been at this point in time.
I was reading a couple of pieces over the weekend that were very critical of Albanese after Bondi. And I don't know, it's hard to give leaders marks out of 10 for things like that are just sort of thrust upon them, but I don't know. I just think back to John Howard after September 11 and after the Bali bombings and after Port Arthur. Nothing of any substantive sort of policy impact has emerged yet from the Bondi attacks, and it feels like something should. It feels like there should be like a national mental health summit. I mean, we had heartbreaking and troubling texts last week from people. One from someone who's lived with schizophrenia their whole life, terrific text from him. Others from people within families that have grappled with this and lost touch with loved ones who have been afflicted with really, really serious mental illnesses. And I don't know, it just sort of, you don't feel like there
wasn't a line in the sand moment of what you're saying.
Yeah. Maybe there's just sort of lack of gravitas these days in politics. But it just didn't feel like there was any...
Lack of gravitas in politics or lack of gravitas in Albo?
Well, maybe that's what I'm saying, yeah.
Because we like him, but he's never going to make the statesman-like speech. And it doesn't seem to be his personality or his want as a leader to be the kind of guy who sees an issue and says, you know what, I am not going to let this happen anymore.
Yeah, totally.
That's just not his... I mean, that's not who he is. I don't think it's ever who he's really been in politics.
Yeah. Yeah, when you get someone, stabbed in Western Sydney for daring to question some of the tenets of Islam, and one of the hate preachers on the front page of the paper today saying, well, the guy, he was questioning the Prophet Muhammad, as if that somehow helps explain the fact that he got stabbed during church.
See, I reckon the Bondi one's more complicated because of the mental health component of it. I think a lot of people who are really smart at this go, this is really hard.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard to find a solution that's going to fix this. But I don't think that one's hard.
Yeah.
I don't think that's hard at all.
Yeah. I mean, that's a bit of a these people have no place in Australia sort of answer. Because we asked him the question on air last week, and we didn't get that reply.
No. That was his opportunity.
Yeah.
Opportunity missed.
Let us know what you think, folks. 8223
Not a lot of love for Roey's views on sharks coming through on the Duttons text line. We'll just put it like that, broadly.
Full Clint Eastwood.
Just not a lot of love. But thank you for your excellent texts. Murraylands Mazda, get the best deals on the new demo BT50 utes. Duttons, they're easy to do business with. 5AA News is coming up. We'll be back with Stacey Lee. Who's she going to put on the Keen Office Furniture hot seat today? We'll find out shortly.
You've never seen MasterChef like this. I am in love.
Welcome to Hong Kong! It's Jamie Oliver.
MasterChef starts 7:30 tonight on 10 and 10 Play.
Humans once spent hours starting fires, scrubbing dishes, and washing laundry until appliances made it easy. Even choosing your appliance is easy thanks to Adelaide Appliance Gallery. They make life easier with the best advice, the best appliances, and the best deals on Smeg. Choose from Smeg's range of kitchen appliances and you'll save up to $3,000. Make your life easier with Adelaide Appliance Gallery, Payneham Road, St Peters.
Keen Office Furniture and Keen Education Furniture have the latest in office and education furniture all in one showroom. And the Keen staff love furniture. So whilst your colleagues talk politics at the water cooler, the Keen team discuss full office fit-outs and ergonomic chairs. Except last week when Shane told the team the scratches on his face were from a koala he tried feeding whilst picnicking in the Adelaide Hills. Thanks, Shane. Keen delivers and sets up furniture at schools and workplaces in Mount Barker and all over SA. Keen Office Furniture and Keen Education Furniture. Leaders in office and education furniture.
Matty B loved popping monos on his sister 3-speed Malvern Star. It was a beautiful bike, purple with neon pink tassels and a rainbow seat. But Matty B didn't care. He was popping monos all the way up the street without a care in the world. He was unique like that, and that's when it came to him, just before he hit a parked car.
And at that point, a eureka moment, Matty figured out how to make the best pie in the world. It was a promise he'd made to himself after tasting the worst pie in the world at the local tuck shop. And he got straight to work just after he got out of hospital.
Many years later, the best pies in the world go by the name Unique, a bit like Matty B. Get your unique pies, sausage rolls and donuts from your local independent supermarket or wherever awesome food is sold.
Unique. It's time for something better.
This is 5AA News, always Adelaide.
25 and sunny today with the 7:30 news. I'm Lucy Loken.
Make RAA approved windscreen repairer Complete Windscreens your insurer repairer of choice. Visit completewindscreens.com.au.
A 16-year-old has spent the night in hospital after being bitten by a white pointer shark. Nathan Ness and his family were out fishing yesterday afternoon at West Beach when the 6-foot fish was caught on their line and reeled into the boat. They tried to remove the hook from the shark's mouth when it retaliated. Dad Michael Ness told 9 News that he was the one to get it off his son's leg.
And then he lifted it up to push it back in the water, and it swung around and grabbed onto his leg. I tried not to reach into its mouth because it's got quite big teeth, so I tried just to reach on the edges. It happened very quickly because from biting his leg and then getting it off was only a few seconds.
It's been our coldest April morning in 9 years. In the city, it was only 6.3 degrees at 4:45 a.m. Parafield Airport was even colder, with the cool air sinking to 2.5 degrees. The coldest place in the state this morning was at Keith in the southeast, where it reached -1 within the past hour. A car left the road and hit a tree at Taunton in the Barossa late last night. The impact caused significant damage to the front of the Holden sedan, and the driver was trapped inside. The 22-year-old Tanunda woman suffered serious injuries and was airlifted to Adelaide for treatment. Barossa police are investigating the circumstances surrounding the crash. The Federal Nationals leader is brushing off reports of a rift between his party and the Liberals over nuclear energy. Some Nationals MPs have reportedly told party leader David Littleproud they will not allow the Liberals to dictate where nuclear facilities would be built, delaying the release of the Coalition's signature energy plans. Mr Littleproud says, though, he and Peter Dutton are on the same page.
There's a lot of conjecture and a lot of gossip, but the reality is Peter Dutton and I are the only ones that know what's going on, and we're working through this methodically, and we're going to make sure that when we announce those locations, we're honest with those communities about why we picked those and the reasons for that.
A trip to Lake Eyre could soon look different for tourists. A draft management plan will be released for consultation on Friday, depicting visitors to the lake ask special permission to enter the lake bed on foot. It would also mean a designated visitor area at the national park. The proposed management plan is designed to help traditional owners manage one of the Outback's most popular attractions. And plastics that are invisible to the human eye are being found in our drinking water. Nanoplastics are about 1/60th the size of a grain of salt and are slowly infiltrating municipal water sources and bottled water sources across Australia. A study published by the Uni of Queensland's Dr Elvis Okofo says there is a lot of variability, though, between houses. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Gliderol Garage Doors, adding strength, style and safety to your home. Gliderol.com.au.
Good morning, Tom Wren.
And a very good morning to you as well, Lucy. We'll start with some footy. Jimmy Bartel is calling on the tribunal system to be sped up. It took 5 days for the AFL to convene a hearing for Charlie Cameron's case last week. The Brownlow medalist saying the AFL should do better.
We've got a stacked football department. We constantly churn out the lines of we're a professional, we're a business, we're a big business, we're a $1 billion business, but then we fall into amateur hour sort of stuff. We're handing out ambassadorships for football departments. You've got an integrity team that is bigger than every sport combined in this game. Why is it taking us 5 days to get this stuff done?
And there were 2 games yesterday to wrap up round number 6 with Hawthorn and Sydney both recording easy wins. Let's go to motorsport. Max Verstappen has underlined his dominance with a 4th win of the season by taking out the Chinese Grand Prix overnight.
Yeah, the car was basically on rails, and I could do whatever I wanted to with it. And those kind of weekends are, of course, amazing to feel, and of course then to achieve basically what we did this weekend is fantastic.
Yeah, audio thanks to Fox. Lando Norris was 2nd and Sergio Perez 3rd. Oscar Piastri came 8th, while fellow Aussie Daniel Ricciardo failed to finish. To soccer, the Perth Glory is confirmed for the Wooden Spoon in the A-League after going down to Western United 4-3. Meantime, in the A-League Women, Sydney FC has won the first leg of its semi-final tie against the Central Coast Mariners, 1-0. And Liverpool is now equal top in the English Premier League after a 3-1 win against Fulham, while Manchester United's into the FA Cup final after outlasting Coventry on penalties. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Thank you, Tommy. Now checking 5AA traffic.
If it's Yamaha music, it has to be Derringer's music. Home, school or stage. Visit Derringer's today.
Morning there. Roads aren't looking too bad today. Got a couple of burst water mains to look out for. You find one at Clearview today, Hampstead Road near Milton Avenue. Another one at Parracombe, Gorge Road near Corkscrew Road. Bit out of the way though, so no great delays there. We are getting busy at the moment, South Road at Theberton and slow for works at Lonsdale, Dyson Road near O'Sullivan's Beach Road. Early morning cameras, Martins Road, Parafield Gardens and Mawson Lakes Boulevard at Mawson Lakes. Look for the RAA sign at over 400 independent RAA approved repairers across SA. You know you can trust them because RAA do. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Another 5AA forecast, sunny and 25 today, partly cloudy 26 tomorrow, before dropping back on Wednesday to 18 and then 19, partly cloudy on Thursday. Right now it's 10.3, more news as it happens on 5AA.
Need a forklift? Don't just get a forklift, get a Toyota forklift. Toyota is the world's #1 forklift brand with a great range of pallet jacks, walkie stackers and reach forklifts right up to their leading Toyota counterbalance forklifts. Legendary reliability and safety with cleaner, greener electric options. Toyota can tailor the right forklift solution for you. It's all part of the Toyota forklift advantage. For more, visit toyotamaterialhandling.com.au.
Get a Toyota forklift. If you need to fix your pipes, call Precise. Call Precise. If your toilet's blocking up, call Precise. Call Precise. If your lights aren't turning on, or your hot water is gone, or a plumber or an electrician, call Precise. Precise.
Precise Plumbing and Electrical. Call 1300 700 200. That's 1300 700 200. Precise Plumbing and Electrical. We're helping life flow.
Or a plumber or an electrician, call Precise. Call Precise.
Damn it. Ow.
What's wrong, Bob?
Oh, these shoes are not as comfy as they used to be.
Well, they've got to be 15 years old, and they look like...
These are my favourites. I reckon they're 15 years old.
No kidding.
They used to feel so nice on, like slippers. I think my feet have changed.
I wish something else would change. Bob, let's go to Gilmore's and get some comfy new shoes. They'll measure your feet and fit you in something really nice, like a casket.
Sorry, what was that?
A basket. We'll need a basket.
Gilmore's Comfort Shoes, South Road, Melrose Park, opposite Castle Plaza.
The 5AA Player app lets you listen to all your favourite 5AA shows wherever you go.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
22 to 8, jump on the Foodland Supermarkets Facebook and YouTube live stream and watch along as Stacey Lee put someone in the Keen Office Furniture hot seat this morning. We talk all things state politics. Fascinating end of the week Stacey had last week. She'll take us through it shortly. Keen Office Furniture and Keen Education Furniture leading the way in office and education furniture right here in SA. Morning to you, Stacey.
Morning, boys. How are you?
Good, thank you, Stace. We're just having a bit of a chat off air about the Tortured Poets Department.
Yes, you look extra tortured today. How was your weekend of listening?
We had a 2-hour session last night, sitting around with Kate and my daughter. I don't mind it.
2 hours? Is that how long the album is?
33 songs?
She did.
It's 33 songs.
This is, for anyone listening at home, it's the new Taylor Swift album.
Right.
And she did a sneaky, and after she released the album said, actually, you're getting 2. And then released another, 14 tracks?
Basically a double LP.
Oh, wow.
In the old language.
How does this woman have this many hours in the day?
You know how many times it's been streamed since Friday afternoon at 2 o'clock?
Apparently it's already the most streamed album ever.
300 million.
300
million.
I would like to point out it was released at 2 o'clock on Friday while I was on air, so that is dedication to the cause that I did not even listen to it in the ad breaks.
Doesn't Taylor understand when you're on stage?
I know, right?
Unbelievable.
Help a sister out here.
Exactly right.
No, controversial opinion. I'm not a big fan of it.
Might grow on you.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe. The one song I like, it's quite poppy.
The duet she does with a woman from Florence and the Machine.
Oh,
is
yeah,
excellent.
that was good.
That's great.
Do It With a Broken Heart. I can do it. That's my favourite song. But the rest of
Florida
them...
as well.
Oh.
Good song.
Sounds like if this segment was done a different way, it might be Taylor Swift in the Keen Office Furniture hot seat.
I would never. No.
No. Okay. All right. No. We wouldn't go that far.
No, we wouldn't go that far. We don't do that to our queen.
You had an interesting chat late last week about what seems inevitably now, given that their presence in the state is going to be an incursion into South Australia of a new political force.
The Teals. There was a meeting at the Lion Hotel last week with Climate 200. So this is the group that financially backs independent campaigns, well, largely independent campaigns across the country, and they're the group that sort of backed the Teals in the last federal election and a couple of state elections as well. So I had the convener, Simon Holmes-A-Court, on the program on Friday to talk about how the meeting went. it was last Wednesday night, I think. They had a meeting at the Lion Hotel and it was packed out. They had to stop advertising it because they got all 175 attendees signed on really early. Rex Patrick spoke at the event. And they were talking about the importance of independence and their campaigns. And it's the first time they've met in South Australia. And I think we can see the Teals coming.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Stace, but from memory, the last federal election, Jo Dyer, who is a well-known arts figure, she was a Writers' Week director for a couple of years. She ran in Boothby.
Yep.
But were there other Teal, and she basically didn't get anywhere.
Yeah.
Labor winning the seat off the Liberals. I can't remember if they had candidates in other seats.
They have backed 3 people in South Australia. Jo Dyer in Boothby. They gave Rebecca Sharkey some funding for her last campaign in Mayo.
Yeah, right.
And they also gave some funding to Liz Harberman in the seat of Grey.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
In the last federal election.
There was the former
as
mayor
well.
or something up there, I think.
Yeah, she was in local council, I think, for a while.
Yeah.
So they've backed 3 candidates in South Australia in the past, and clearly didn't go too well. 2 of them didn't get anywhere, and Rebecca Sharkey was already an MP, so I wouldn't necessarily put down her.
I'm sure Rebecca wouldn't want us to say this, but the last thing she needs is money from Simon Ames at court. She's got that seat locked away for good, doesn't she?
Yeah, I would have thought.
I would think
Why
so,
do the Teals work in the eastern states but not in SA?
I don't know. I don't know if they really ran a proper campaign in South Australia, if they only backed Jo Dyer and Liz Harberman. But after my interview on Friday, I'm a little bit clearer about what the Teals are. And it's not a party. They don't all run together. They don't all sit down and have policy meetings. The way Simon Holmes à Court described it is that a group of people in the community get together and they decide what their priorities are, and they kind of find a candidate and then they apply to Climate 200 for funding. And they say, look, we hit your KPIs of whatever it is you want to support. And they've got 3 main priorities for the Teals. One is obviously the climate and energy. One is equality and equal representation of women. And one is integrity, so the federal ICAC. And the Teals were pretty instrumental in getting that federal ICAC up and running.
I guess the thing that fueled a lot of it too in the eastern states was that you had people who became really high-profile targets for middle-class, disaffected middle-class, small L Liberal voters.
Yes.
People like Abbott in his seat, Josh Frydenberg.
Josh Frydenberg lost his seat.
Yeah.
Yep.
Malcolm Turnbull's seat had that history already where former head of the AMA, Dr.
Was it Monique Ryan?
Yeah.
No.
Total mental blank. I can see her in my mind way back before that she held it as an independent.
It's interesting. I think the most interesting thought experiment in South Australia is what would have they polled in Dunstan? That feels to me like sort of that's Karen Phelps. That's red hot territory for that's affluent people upset with the Liberal Party.
Well,
it kind of feels like the recipe for success.
Yeah, interesting you say that, because I did ask him after the meeting, are there any specific seats you're looking at? And this is what Simon Holmes à Court said.
Quite a few people mentioned that Sturt is an interesting place, and you just had the Dunstan by-election, which sits underneath that seat. There were people talking about it. To my knowledge, a group hasn't started there, but that's sort of absolutely how we work. We sit back and we wait to see for the community to form together.
So the only seat I know where a group has formed and they're looking at a potential independent candidate is Grey. That's back up.
Grey?
They're totally wasting their time up there.
Do you think?
Yeah.
I think Liz Harberman came kind of close last time.
Well, I guess the thing is Rowan Ramsey's not running again.
Exactly.
Yeah. But, I don't know, it feels like they should put all their eggs in the Sturt basket to me. You know,
Sturt fits the profile of where they've had success previously.
Half of Sturt does.
Half of Sturt.
It's only the sort of Norwood, Beulah Park, Kensington part, not the Campbelltown part.
No.
Payneham.
You only have to come second.
Well, that's right.
Yeah. Yep.
It's funny, though, like South Australia, you think about it, we've got... I mean, Janine Haynes almost won Kingston 100 years ago for the Australian Democrats. You know, we've had the Democrats, you know, we had Meg Lees as leader, we had Natasha as leader, Steele Hall with the Liberal movement. Like, there's a long... Not that did the Liberal Party any good, but there's a long history of sort of economically conservative, socially progressive voter sentiment in this state.
Well, and we had the Nick Xenophon and the Xenophon team
Yeah,
as
totally.
well.
Yep.
We do have a lot of independent MPs in the state at the moment, although they're mostly former Liberals and it's not really their choice that they're independents. But anyway, I did also ask Simon Holmes à Court if they only target federal parliament or groups that want to get into federal parliament or state as well, and this is what he said to that.
In the Victorian election and the New South Wales election, we had a number of communities that approached us asking for support, and we did. We helped in 4 campaigns in Victoria and 6 in New South Wales. So we're happy to help where we can at the state level. We don't know as much. It takes a fair while for us to get our heads around a new state and learn how the state politics works. But so that's why it's so important that it's community led.
So I take from that they're not really going to go too hard at the...
You didn't seem particularly excited about the prospect of it.
No.
So federally is what they're looking at.
Federally is what they're looking at, and I think it would be a pretty safe bet to say they will have a campaign in Grey once they find an independent candidate, and if they can get an independent team up and running in Sturt, it seems like one they really want to target.
Text here from Zach saying Liz was a local councillor and she campaigned on euthanasia after losing her son to cancer, but she wasn't mayor. Thanks for that, Zach.
Well, that's a fascinating story.
It'll be a really interesting one to watch as we head into the next federal campaign.
Who are you putting in the Keen Office Furniture hot seat this morning?
Right now, I'm putting all those independent-minded women in the seat of Sturt and other seats on the state in the Keen Office Furniture hot seat to get their campaigns up and running, because Climate 200 has millions of dollars in funding waiting to give it to you.
Yeah, they've got a blueprint for success too. Absolutely. Good on you, Stacey.
On you, Stace.
Looking forward to
Thanks,
the program this afternoon. Keen Office Furniture and Keen Education Furniture, leading the way in office and education furniture right here in South Australia.
Thanks, Will. Roads are looking pretty good for Back to Work Monday. No great dramas. A couple of burst water mains to keep in mind. You'll find one of those at Clearview today, Hampstead Road near Milton Avenue. Got another at Parracombe Gorge Road near Corkscrew Road, but no great delays there. We are seeing slow traffic at the moment for works. That's at O'Halloran Hill on the Southern Expressway, just near Majors Road for the expressway widening. Speeds at 80. And we've got cameras today at Cavan Road, Dry Creek and Kester's Road at Para Hills West. Is it time to level up your business? For a limited time, ABN holders can access national fleet pricing on Renault Traffic Van. T's and C's apply. Drive away today. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Walco is making headlines again for SA's biggest cover-up. If you own a pool, it will affect you in the best possible way. For those whose pool is the main feature of their yard, Walco offer a special mesh cover to keep debris and leaves out, while making your pool area look stunning all through winter. If looks matter, join the great cover-up and ask Walco about their stylish new mesh pool covers. Visit walco.com.au.
NRG Solar have moved to a new location. It's bigger and better, and their new warehouse is fully stocked with wholesale solar and battery equipment. So, if you're looking to save money on electricity and help our environment, don't wait. Visit NRG Solar at their new office on South Road St Mary's, where every 3 customers refer someone they know, which means they must be doing something right. Call into NRG Solar at their new premises, 1275 South Road, or visit nrgsolar.com.au.
Now, it's always handy to have a mate with a bus, a van, a truck or a ute, but they rarely have all 4, and they can't promise 5-star service. That's why Avis Truck Rental Adelaide is the best mate you can have.
They've been SA's go-to vehicle rental company for decades, helping work go smooth and holidays go ahead. So whether you need a bigger set of wheels just to get the job done, or maybe you just want to get away, they have you covered.
And with their fleet of vans, buses, utes and trucks that you can drive with a car licence, they're sure to help you turn got a problem into not a problem.
Avis Truck Rental Adelaide opens 7 days at 416 Port Road, West Hindmarsh. Book online at avis.com.au or call 8241 5200.
With help from Fluorio Milk Company, cafes all over Adelaide have joined the fight to reduce plastic waste. Instead of single-use plastic bottles, they've introduced reusable 18-litre kegs. Over recent months, a phenomenal amount of single-use plastic bottles have been eliminated, and every day the tally grows. Fluorio Milk Company, together with cafes, supermarkets, schools, restaurants, hotels and workplaces, expect to save our planet from millions of single-use plastic bottles. Visit fluoriomilkco.com.au for more.
In tough times, it's the simple things that make a big difference, like $19 schnitzel days at the Birkenhead Tavern, Excelsior and the Lighthouse Wharf. We know the humble schnitty can't fix all our problems, but we do know it'll put a smile on your dial. $19 schnitty, Mondays, Tuesdays and Wednesdays at the Birkenhead Tavern, Excelsior and the Lighthouse Wharf, making the world a better place one schnitty at a time. Got to start somewhere. You just know it's a Barreau Hotel.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
The 5AA Player app lets you listen to all your favourite 5AA shows wherever you go.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
10 minutes to 8. Matt runs the Gooby Goose Cafe, who we spoke to when he had a week from hell not so long ago.
Wasn't he robbed 4 times?
Yeah, vandalised on multiple occasions was his cafe. Good, honest business owner trying to do the right thing. He's now joined a chorus of voices, I suspect largely comprised of people in small business, who have said, we have a youth crime problem and enough is enough in South Australia. Matt joins us on 5AA Breakfast. Great to chat with you again, mate.
Hey guys, how are we?
We're good, thanks, Matt. As Will said, it is great to be chatting with you again, but just not under these circumstances, Matt, because we thought that after the attention last year that, you know, something sort of might have been done to stop this.
Yeah, well, we're 6 months down the road and nothing's changed. Unfortunately, if anything, we've probably got fewer police at Sapole, and they only got stretched out a bit more by sending 50-odd officers up to Alice Springs. Yeah,
well, just in terms of what's actually happened to you lately, Matt, I mean, because I was reading this article and I was thinking, every day you arrive at work, you must just think, all right, how we go overnight?
Yeah, yeah, a little bit. It's one of those things, you turn up and just hope to God everything's all good. And, like, you know, we've had a pretty good run of late, you know, but that's not to say that other people in the area, or even around Adelaide, have had, you know, bad nights and bad mornings. So, we've been fortunate lately, so that's been great.
I remember when we first chatted with you, Matt, and we got feedback to this effect on the text line as well from people. You were beyond reasonable when it came to the difficulties of dealing with youth crime and these repeat offenders and the kids and what kind of upbringing and so forth they'd came from. Unbelievably so, given what you'd lost and the inconvenience in your life. It sounds like even you, as the most reasonable small business vandal victim in Adelaide, though, has kind of got to a point where you've said enough's enough, and understanding isn't going to fix the problem.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially at the moment, times are quite difficult, not just for small businesses, but everyone. But like, I'll speak upon small businesses, but it's one of these things that we could easily shut a shop, just go work for somebody else, and just do Monday to Friday work and not have to worry about any of this stuff. There's got to be a passion involved when you're doing these kinds of things. Unfortunately, when, you know, like what happened with me, you know, you lose that passion pretty easily, and the stress of it all can be quite intense. And there were times, if I'm honest, that we were pondering, do we continue to do this? And so it was difficult.
If your shop gets vandalised and attacked repeatedly, is it a bit like someone who keeps having to put their car in the shop because it's getting dinged up and scratched? Do your premiums and things go up as you have to make claims?
Well, I think we spoke about this last time. I didn't make the claim only due to the fact that it was more, the long run, it would have been more expensive to make a claim than
for the
short term claim. But yeah, it's an easy thing to say, like it's like your car getting dinged up, but it's essentially almost like your house being broken into.
Good point.
I think that's probably a better analogy, because essentially it is your home. You know, it's your second home. So you put just as much love into your business as you do with your home, like, and any small business owner would know that. You know, so when someone is coming in and damaging or breaking in or anything along those lines, you do take it quite personally.
So, Matt, what's the status of your business? Are you still waiting for that shopping centre to be developed so you can get back in there and actually have like a permanent physical presence, or is this shipping container cafe still the model that you're going to work with regardless?
No, so as of late December, we were actually able to go into our premises and start business, which has been great. The feedback we've had from everyone has been fantastic. You know, we've got our kitchen running well now. We've got a lot of our customers back, and we feel like it's still going to get busier and busier once people realise the shopping centre has been completed. So yeah, things are going great, and like I said at the start, you know, we're 6 months in and thought we'd see some change, but then we had the numbers come out the other day saying that youth crime's up 12.6%, and again, we've had no changes.
Matt from the Gooby Goose Cafe there in Happy Valley, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah,
12.6%. 12.6.
It's a big increase. But I got a bit confusing because it sounds like he hasn't had new incidents.
No.
Since
He's lending his voice to this movement. He's speaking on behalf and helping out a lot of other small businesses who've been victims.
Yeah.
As a former victim himself, saying, hey,
as a result of what he went through last
it's
October.
even gotten worse since then. It's gotten worse since he was attacked 3 or 4 times in a week.
I think part of it would be the sort of revolving door of, many offences committed by a smaller number of people, if you know what I mean.
This, to me, feels like the local version of what the conversation we had 30 minutes ago about Albo and Bondi Junction, where it feels like everyone in an official capacity just wants to trot out a line that will placate people in the short term, make everyone feel good about it, but it's in everyone's too hard basket to actually do something long term or structural about. Like, what's a sympathetic thing we can say that makes sure we understand the breadth of the problem, but we don't want to actually commit to doing anything dramatic about trying to fix it.
Yeah.
They feel like they're twin issues in that sense: mental health and youth crime.
Yeah,
maybe they're linked.
Well, I think it's more lack of family structure, which would feed into a sense of despondency and. Like your life's got no direction, so why not just go around doing whatever it is you want to do? I still think, ultimately, that the parents, a lot of it's got to be on the parents. Kids aren't innately bad. You learn to be bad. You're allowed to be bad. No one's ever pulled them up.
No. Let's have a look at the text line, because there's been a heap that have come through, and we've had a very busy morning, so we haven't had a chance to read many of them out yet. The Murraylands Mazda, get the best deals now on new and demo BT50 utes. Dutton's easy to do business with.
One here, I don't want people to think that police are doing nothing about crime. We had someone on our balcony just after 3 a.m. with a window open, attempting to break into our house. Police were there quickly. They arrested the person, so thank you, SAPOL.
Oh, that's great news.
One here from Roger about our chat with Stacey. Isn't it the case that Holmes Court is more anti-liberal than pro-Labor? Yeah, I think it's probably a fair way to describe it. Where are we? Wayne, g'day fellas. I think the tills don't work as well in SA because we're smart enough to realise that they're no different to the tree-hugging, squirrel-kissing Reds that they call the Greens. Can't believe that there's so many gullible people out there. Thank you for that, Wayne.
2 minutes to 8, 5AA News is coming up. Breaking at 8, not too far away. Then in the last hour of the program today, we're going to be chatting with the brand new judge of MasterChef, a beloved contestant, Adelaide's own Poe, is going to join us on 5AA Breakfast shortly.
It all started with a pen and paper 35 years ago. Lots of ideas and a ton of innovation. Nothing's changed. Beechwood Homes is still building stunning bespoke homes right across South Australia. Under construction right now is another Beechwood Homes masterpiece at Blackwood Park. This new display home will showcase Beechwood's dedication to cutting-edge design, craftsmanship and innovation. If you can dream it, Beechwood Homes can build it. Life's good. It's even better in a Beechwood home.
Keen Office Furniture and Keen Education Furniture have the latest in office and education furniture all in one showroom. And the Keen staff love furniture. So whilst your colleagues talk politics at the water cooler, the Keen team discuss full office fit-outs and ergonomic chairs. Except last week when Jackie asked Shane if he used to ride a horse to school before the tram came into operation in 1929. Nice one, Jackie. Keen delivers and sets up furniture at schools and workplaces in Glenelg and all over SA. Keen Office Furniture and Keen Education Furniture. Leaders in office and education furniture.
If you know anything about playing or making music, you'll know Derringers is the absolute go-to for all things music, especially when it comes to anything Yamaha, including Yamaha drums, speakers, PA systems, acoustic electric guitars and amplifiers. Yamaha are renowned for their quality and value.
And look, it doesn't matter which instrument you want to start playing or master, Derringers can help you out. And it doesn't matter how old you are either, because music's for everyone at any stage of life, and the joy it brings is immeasurable.
Derringers is a team of super friendly, in-the-know musos. This is kind of people David knocks around with. They're ready to help and steer you in the right direction.
No, unlike my band, Derringers, they know how to use their instruments. Now, if it's Yamaha music, it's got to be Derringers music. Home, stage or school, Derringers are your support act. Leader Street, Forestville and Grenfell Street City, or jump online at their excellent website, derringers.com.au.
After 25 years of delivering perfect service, ACET Couriers is evolving to better reflect what they do now. They're not just couriers, they're your go-to for fast, secure and reliable national transport solutions, now known as ACET Transport Solutions. Darren, Chris and the team at ACET Transport Solutions have a fleet of over 220 vehicles delivering any size parcel and any size pallet to anywhere in Australia. Book online at acettransport.au. Don't send it, ACET.
The very latest news and information. This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Mostly sunny and 25 today with the 8 o'clock news. I'm Lucy Loken.
Chipped windscreen? RAA approved repairer Complete Windscreens repairs it from just $99. Find the big red koala.
16-year-old West Beach local Nathan Ness is waking up in hospital this morning after being bitten on the leg by a white pointer. The 6-foot shark was reeled into the boat on which he and his father were fishing yesterday afternoon. The pair tried to return the shark to the water, but instead it latched onto Nathan's leg, leaving deep lacerations. His father managed to peel the beast off his son before driving the boat back to shore to awaiting paramedics. Labor maintains it's addressing the high cost of living as voters continue to punish the federal government. 2 new opinion polls show support for the Albanese government is languishing with just 30% of the primary vote. Most people have welcomed measures to boost manufacturing but are seeking greater help with soaring consumer prices. Agricultural Minister Murray Watt says the government is moving to address various issues.
We know people are hurting at the moment and we know that we need to do more, and we'll keep making announcements about that to try to take that pressure off people as time progresses.
Meantime, both sides of federal politics are wanting to limit disturbing social media content. Liberal leader Peter Dutton has backed efforts calling for harsher sanctions to combat misinformation online. Technology expert Trevor Long says there is a simple way to minimise the spread of disturbing content.
It really, I think, comes down to more of a societal conversation around what is appropriate and what is not, because these things don't gather strength if they're not liked and shared. That's what the algorithm does. It about because people are sharing it.
Thousands of people in Sydney gathered at a vigil last night in Bondi Beach to pay their respects to the victims of the stabbing tragedy last weekend at Westfield Bondi Junction. In the crowd was Prime Minister Anthony Albanese and hero cop Amy Scott, who stopped the knife-wielding killer. But in a positive development since the horrific attacks, the 9-month-old baby who was stabbed has now been released from hospital, recovering from wounds to her abdomen. And a nighttime training flight in Japan has ended in tragedy with 2 Navy SH-60 helicopters likely colliding mid-air before crashing into the Pacific Ocean. The Japanese Defence Minister says that 7 crew members are still missing, whilst one person who had been recovered from the ocean was later pronounced dead. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Colours, custom design, any house, any style. Gliderol Garage Doors. Gliderol.com.au.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Lucy. Footy first, and it's back to work for both the Crows and Port Adelaide after disappointing results in round 6. The Crows will welcome back Matt Crouch for Saturday's clash against North Melbourne, while the Power, a confident Jason Horne-Francis, will be okay to face St Kilda at home on Friday night, despite finishing the match against Collingwood on the bench with what the club says was cramping. And there were 2 games yesterday with Sydney 53-point winners against Gold Coast, while Hawthorn recorded its first win of the season with a 45-point triumph over North Melbourne. To soccer, the controversial VAR has denied Coventry a fairy tale semi-final win in the FA Cup overnight. The Sky Blues were 3-0 down against Manchester United and looked gone, but incredibly fought back to level things up at 3-3 to send the match to extra time. And then they scored what appeared to be the winner in the 121st minute.
This is going to be sensational. Oh! It is. It's Torp with the touch. That means delirium for Coventry City.
Amazing scenes, but the replay showed Torp was a toenail offside, meaning the match went to penalties, and the Red Devils prevailed, meaning they'll now take on Man City in the final. Meantime, 2 games in the English Premier League with Liverpool 3-1 winners against Fulham, while Everton took care of Nottingham Forest 2-0. Max Verstappen has won the China Grand Prix, finishing well ahead of Lando Norris and Sergio Perez. Oscar Piastri was 8th, while fellow Aussie Daniel Ricciardo was taken out by Lance Stroll and failed to finish. To tennis, Norway's Casper Ruud has claimed his 11th career title after taking out the Barcelona Open with a 7-5, 6-3 win against Stefanos Tsitsipas. And bad weather has forced play to be delayed in the final round of the RBC Heritage event in South Carolina. It appears to be only delaying the inevitable, with Scotty Scheffler doing it again. He's in total command, leading by 4 shots with half a dozen holes to play. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Thank you, Tom. Now checking 5AA traffic.
If it's Yamaha music, it has to be Derringer's music. Home, school or stage. Visit Derringer's today.
Morning there at Clearview, burst water main, Hampstead Road near Milton Avenue. Parracombe, another burst water main there, Gorge Road near Corkscrew Road, got speeds of 25. Slow activity at Glenside, that's due to works, Fullerton Road near Greenhill Road, and getting busy at the moment at Plimpton Marion Road near Maple Street. You'll find early morning cameras, Cavan Road, Dry Creek and Jollytown Road at Lindhoek. Save up to $999 on Ultimate Luxe 4-night stay at the 5-star Fairmont Banff Springs. Book your Canada Winter Wonderland escape now at Flight Centre. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast, a beautiful 25 and sunny today, 26 partly cloudy tomorrow, 18 though and cloudy on Wednesday, and 19 partly cloudy on Thursday. Right now it's 11.6. More news as it happens on 5AA.
If you need to fix your pipes, call Precise. Call Precise. If your toilet's boiling up, call Precise. Call Precise. If your lights aren't turning on, or your hot water is gone, or a plumber or an electrician, call Precise. Precise.
Precise Plumbing and Electrical. Call 1300 700 200. That's 1300 700 200. Precise Plumbing and Electrical. Local and experienced trade specialists.
Or a plumber or an electrician, call Precise. Call Precise.
Humans once spent hours starting fires, scrubbing dishes and washing laundry until appliances made it easy. Even choosing your appliance is easy thanks to Adelaide Appliance Gallery. They make life easier with the best advice, the best appliances and the best deals on Smeg. Choose from Smeg's Diamond series of dishwashers and you'll save up to $500. Make your life easier with Adelaide Appliance Gallery, Paynham Road, St Peters.
In Adelaide and across South Australia, this is 5AA, always Adelaide.
The 5AA Player app lets you listen to all your favourite 5AA shows wherever you go.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
8 minutes after 8, Breaking 8 coming up in just a moment. We're going to chat with Poe from MasterChef, who's returning to the program, not as a contestant, not as a Hall of Famer, but as a judge in the new season that starts tonight. Looking forward to that chat in a moment.
Season 1, wasn't it? The very first MasterChef. Poe was the runner-up to Julie Goodwin. Adelaide's own Poe. I'm very excited about having Poe on the show. She's such a good cook.
We'll be chatting with her shortly. Also then after 8:30, we're going to be chatting with the Charles Sturt Council. The Crows headquarters story is now a bit like the early stages of COVID, where you'd hear the bad news that it's jumped a continent. And now it's another council that's involved, which is always exciting. Because now they need to coordinate not just the development at Thebarton, but indeed where the Sandful moves to at West Lakes.
Because if the Sandful can't move out, the Crows can't move in.
That's exactly right. So we're going to try and work out what in the hell's going on. The big meeting tonight. So this is an important chat this morning.
Hopefully the fact that they're coming on our show suggests that sanity is going to prevail. Hopefully, unless they're going to come on and say, no.
Call me a cynic, but you could have applied the same logic to the rail, tram and bus union last week.
Yeah, well, that's true. We still don't know about that. We'll know as of Friday whether there's going to be strike action.
All right, so
on the day of the showdown.
We're going to talk headquarters. We're going to be here in a decade talking about the Crows headquarters. I don't even want to think about it. Let's get
the rebuild.
Let's get what gets finished first.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah.
You know what? I think we just came up with our jury question for tomorrow.
yeah, absolutely.
It's time.
Let's do it.
It's time for Breaking 8.
Well, this is a shocking story, and it's one that is very close to my heart because it involves my favourite food business in South Australia. The South Australian food industry, and by that I don't mean, Thomas Foods International, I mean little mum and dad run family businesses in butchering, fresh food, poultry, seafood. They are losing tens of thousands of dollars in South Australia right now because of these completely mystifying and unexplained delays in state government approval processes. It involves food accreditation, food safety standards, and the agency responsible for that is FIVEAA. Now, previously, the accreditation process was taking about 10 days to complete, but we've been told by businesses that they are now facing delays of up to a year to have their food safety accreditation signed off on, with no communication and no explanation from FIVEAA. I understand that several of these businesses have written to the Minister, Claire Scriven, way back in January, and they have still heard nothing. As a result, they're going to be meeting tonight to seek clarity on the situation. Now, as I mentioned, one of the businesses that is in the thick of this is our own Goodwood Quality Meats. Dave Armstrong is the owner of Goodwood Quality Meats, and we have Dave on the line now. Dave, thanks for joining us, mate. You and I have been chatting on and off about this for a few months, and I understand that the opposition leader, Dave Spears, popped into the shop a couple of Saturdays ago to have a talk to you about it. This sort of red tape, there's no defence, there's no excuse for it, is there?
G'day, Dave. G'day, Will. No, look, there doesn't seem to be. Look, we'll go back just over 12 months ago, and this sort of thing would take 10 days. There seems to be the same inspectors and people that we turn to, and when we need information or that we update every time we make an adjustment to our food safety plans, we actually have to notify PIRSA and let them know what's going on. And to do that, these things normally take 10 days to make these adjustments for us to move forward to do things within our industry. And now they're blowing out to 12 months and more. We're not getting any answers. We do, we email, we call, and we're just getting stonewalled.
So just in terms of what it actually means in a shop like yours, if you can't get the food safety accreditation signed off on, what's the sort of stuff that it would prevent you from doing?
So if you were to buy a business, for example, from a new business, normally it takes 10 days. You have a small grace period where the new owner's there and the old owner is still there and they're transferring over. So if you were to cook products, or which they class as high risk, it means you actually can't, you can no longer process that until PIRSA actually sign you off on that information. And all those basic accreditations. Now we have a butcher in Kangaroo Island who can't even put meat out on their displays. They're trying to trade, but it's illegal documentation that we actually can be persecuted for or prosecuted for, up to $20,000. Now these are mum and dad businesses who employ not just looking after themselves, but we employ lots of families.
Yeah.
And we're being put against financial hardship because we can't move forward to either improve or make basic adjustments to our food safety plan.
So you're having that meeting tonight, and I understand that the Shadow Minister for Primary Industries, Nicola Centofanti, she's also getting involved in it as well. Does it go, as I said at the start, it goes beyond just butcher shops though, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It goes to oyster growers, seafood, chicken producers, egg producers, anything pretty much within the food industry standards, or fresh food comes under PIRSA, and even bees. So it really does put a real hold up on things that within our industries, and it's putting more financial pressure on our industry, and which is basically putting more issues towards mum and dad businesses, which is struggling as it is.
Yeah, particularly in the midst of a cost of living crisis. Well, Dave, good on you, mate. I'll see you later for some pork and provolone snags. I'm probably going to pop in this afternoon. But unfortunate that we've had to get you on the show about this, but hopefully with the attention that it's getting, and we'd love to hear from other food businesses that are involved as well. Sounds like the ball's in the Minister's court to get this sorted out. Dave Armstrong there from Goodwood Quality Meats. Thank you, mate.
Thanks very much. Have a very good day.
It was a little bit quiet. Let's do that again. Turn it up. Now we're up and running.
Turn it up.
8223000. The number you can text us on the Dutton's text line as well. Our next guest is Trevor Wright, who's been running tourist flights in remote South Australia for a long time, but that sells him short. He's effected incredible rescues. We've spoken to him on the program about his heroics in the past. We've talked to him about all manner of things affecting the most remote parts of the state. And today, wanted to get him on very quickly to ask about the development detailed in the Tiser this morning, inside page 1. They're on page 2 about the future of Lake Eyre, with visitors now being banned from entering the lake bed on foot without permission under a management plan that is acknowledging that this attraction, this area, is a special and sacred site to Aboriginal people. Trevor Wright is running this tourist operation in this part of the state. Trevor, good morning to you, mate. Good to chat with you again. What do you and other tourist operators make of this development?
Look, I think it's just something that's occurred over the last decade or so. It's an unwritten law. You don't drive on the lake unless you want to get rid of some money and you want to get stuck out there and put your life at risk, or you got lacking in a bit of common sense. You know, who in their right mind would go in the middle of nowhere, 200 kilometres from anywhere, and put it out in an area you know you're going to get bogged in? And another thing is, walking on that lake, you've got to be bloody careful, because it's got a very thin covering of salt, and underneath it, it's got crystallised gypsum, which is like glass, and then you've got about 21 feet or 7 metres of black slimy clay, so you can cut yourself to ribbons, give you in tongs and that type of thing. So I think a lot of it is purely common sense, safety orientated, that's been there before, but never really put in there. And it's a draft plan. Anyone can put whatever they think is of benefit to the whole thing. And as far as signage and that goes, all the signage out there is sun-bleached. The roads out to the Halligan's Bay, the main tourist place to go out there, was shut for over a year because it was unsafe. The whole area needs a regeneration, and if this is a direction we need to go in to get it up and going again, I think it's a great thing.
Yeah. Well, Trevor, we were saying before, it's not like a sort of the old I climbed Ayers Rock scenario, because it sounds like we're potentially banning something which no one in their right mind would do or indeed does do anyway.
No, look, we've pulled a lot of people out of that lake over the years, and there was a death there back in 98 with Grismiller where they got stuck on the edge of the lake.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, a lot of what's being put forward in this plan is really basic level common sense. And no one wants to see anyone injured or hurt. And, you know, it's in the top 10 tourist attractions. If we can get more structure to it, and we can get a more holistic approach about what people can see and do and feel safe, because the majority of people that come out there, they're mainly baby boomers and that, and they're outside their environment. They're all out of the East Coast, and they've never stepped foot off bitumen.
Yeah, well, I'm in that category, like, you know, middle class, in a suburban resident. I wouldn't know the first thing.
What's that like? you need a bit of sand, plies, and see what the real world's like.
Well, that's what I was going to say, mate. Like, because, you know, the idea of going up to Lake Eyre when it's in flood and you've got all of those amazing migratory birds. There's some beautiful photography in today's Tizer article, photos from about 2016 that Mark Brake took of hundreds and hundreds of pelicans all taking off.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be good if there was some sort of area where you could drive on a proper road and arrive at like some viewing platform and actually see it?
I totally agree with you. And I think that's where the outcome will end up being at the end of the day. This is, well, just by the public, what you call a curiosity and input into it, it says they really have a feeling for Lake Eyre Caddy Thunder and that they want to see it go ahead. But, you know, it's got to be in a controlled manner where no one will get hurt. And environmentally, just a couple of really quick figures, the catchment area of Lake Eyre is the size of Victoria. Only 1 to 2% of the water gets into the lake. They can have up to 5.5 million birds in it. It is a really special area. There's no doubt from an ecosystem. But, you know, if people don't know where to go, what to walk on, and what to do, we could be leaving a few of them out there, and that's not good for anyone.
Yeah. No, great insight, Trevor. Hey, I forgot to mention in your list of notable achievements out there in Outback, South Australia, is it the case you were the first pilot to spot the Maree Man? Is that right?
No, not at all. What did that guy said? It cost me $18,000. I'd love to help you, but I have no recollection. And it's true. I've got no idea who did it, what did it, how they did it, and I really don't want to make comment on it.
Oh, okay.
I think we're much better off looking at the plan than we are looking at the past or the future.
All right. No, I read something online that suggested that you might have been first, but...
look, there's been a lot of suggestions about me over the years, and I won't deny all of them.
Okay. All right. I'll stop Googling then, Trevor, it sounds like.
Yeah, stop Googling and start looking.
Is that why you live in the middle of nowhere, mate?
I'm waiting to see you guys go up there and do an OB and see what a character building experience would be for you guys to see what it's like in a...
It sounds great.
We can fly you in. Why don't you organise it?
I would love to do that.
I'll just notify
Have a look at the lake.
I'll just notify my next of kin now, Trevor. We'll just get the will sorted out.
You guys,
no chance of surviving.
Oh, no, I think you guys should be benchmarks.
Yeah, benchmarks or something. Good on you, Trevor. Good to chat with you, mate.
Good on you. Catch you later. Bye.
He'd be a good bloke to have a session with, I reckon.
He's terrific. Trevor Wright, who runs tourist flights up there, and terrific insight into what this new plan will mean. It sounds like it is in fact going to be much ado about nothing. Let's check traffic, and when we return, we're going to be chatting with Poe. We're going to talk the return of MasterChef.
Thanks, Will. Roads are looking pretty good for a back-to-work Monday. No great dramas. Do have a couple of burst water mains to look out for. You'll find one at Clearview today, Hampstead Road near Milton Avenue. Another one at Parracombe, Gorge Road near Corkscrew Road. No great delays there. It is getting a little sluggish at the moment on the Southern Expressway. That's at O'Halloran Hill, just near Majors Road as they widen the expressway. Speeds at 80, and you will find cameras at Dalkeith Road, Cutler, and Main North Road at Parrahurst West. Join almost 4 million members with Bupa, CanStar's outstanding value health insurance for 2023, and feel good health catch on. Switch today. Search Bupa Health Insurance. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
The 5AA Sports Show. Stephen Rowe and Tim Jennifer.
By the numbers this year, the Crows' best player is Matt Crouch. He would be leading the Crows best and fairest today. He went in low and hard, copped himself a game, won the ball. He's ineligible now for the Brownlow. He wouldn't win the Brownlow because of that incident.
That's right, and that's what
I'm saying. Take it out.
The 5AA Sports Show.
He's just the best.
I think it's time for that.
Weekdays from 4 p.m. on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
It's SA's biggest cover-up, and thousands of pool owners all over South Australia are implicated. Who's at the centre of it? Walco, of course. Put your pool to bed for winter with a Walco Guardian pool cover. Made right here in SA, a Walco Guardian pool cover will preserve your chemicals, keep your water clean, and you won't need to run your pump. The savings are amazing. Join the great cover-up and get a Walco Guardian pool cover. Visit walco.com.au.
Thinking about a solar battery? Don't wait. Connect with NRG Solar and bring home a solar battery with a rock-solid 10-year warranty. Use the energy you generate during the day. Store some for later, reducing reliance on energy providers and putting money back in your pocket. See NRG Solar in their new premises at St Mary's. Bigger place, better space, some amazing people. Visit NRG Solar now at 1275 South Road or call 1300 858 160.
The swear jar is back at Bioban Bathrooms and Kitchens. In fact, it never went away, and I can tell you, it is larger than ever. It is more like a swear keg.
Needed to be larger on Saturday, I reckon, after quarter time. If Coxie was watching that game, I reckon it would have been absolutely
with chock-a-block,
brimming with coins by the end of it. But the difference at Bioban Bathrooms and Kitchens, these guys are the best. Now, you might think you know what a swear jar is. Well, the Bioban swear jar, it's actually full of pledges and promises.
For example, here's one sent to us straight from the swear jar. It's from Martin the Tiler. Now, he's affectionately known as Millimetre Martin. Now, he swears you'll love his millimetre perfect craftsmanship. In fact, if you've seen Martin's work, you'll know what he means. He is impeccable.
And here's one from Rick the Plumber. Rick swears to always clean up after himself, guaranteed. Thank you, Rick. I'm sure that our listeners will hold you to that pledge.
For a team that swears to deliver on quality and service, see Bioban Bathrooms and Kitchens, Adelaide's home renovation experts.
We're with Bronte Manuel from Toop and Toop Real Estate. Bronte, what's the current state of the Adelaide market?
For the past 3 years, Adelaide's property market outperformed all other capital cities Australia-wide, and it feels like Adelaide is having its second wind.
So what factors contribute to this growth?
Interstate migration numbers are climbing, and new home dwelling approvals are through the floor. Buyers are worried they may not have a home. This can only translate into further price growth.
How should homeowners take advantage of the current market?
It has never been so critical to find the right agency with a proven strategy. At Toop and Toop, we've set the highest amount of suburb records in SA. To take advantage of the current property boom, get in touch with Toop and Toop today.
Thanks, Bronte. Great insights. To find out more, go to toop.com.au.
In tough times, it's the simple things that make a big difference. Like $19 schnitzel days at the Birkenhead Tavern, Excelsior and the Lighthouse Wharf. We know the humble schnitty can't fix all our problems, but we do know it'll put a smile on your dial. $19 schnitty, Mondays, Tuesdays and Wednesdays at the Birkenhead Tavern, Excelsior and the Lighthouse Wharf. Making the world a better place, one schnitty at a time. Got to start somewhere. You just know it's a Barreau Hotel.
Rosanna Mangiarelli here from 7 News. Join me and Will Goodings for Adelaide's leading news hour, 7 News, tonight at 6 o'clock.
Well, MasterChef returns on Channel 10 tonight, Monday evening. It's on at 7:30 on 10 and 10 Play, featuring, I was going to say the return of one of our favourites, but cast in a whole new role. One of South Australia's favourite cooks, Poe, returns not as a contestant, not because they're doing the greats, not because she's one of the best ever to do it, but because she is a judge on MasterChef. Poe, good morning to you.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, thanks for coming on, Poe. Now, I was a real early adopter. I loved MasterChef when it hit the screens, and you're obviously right there in season 1. It felt like such a nice antidote to what had become some pretty unpleasant sort of programming in the reality TV space way back at the sort of, when was it, about 2009, I reckon. But it must have been thrilling being part of that juggernaut, because it just went off straight away, didn't it, as a program?
Yeah, it did. It's funny that you say that, because I think at the beginning they were angling for it to be a little bit like that, and then I think it just started to, I think, ratings and because it was just such an unknown beast at the time, and even with reality TV, there was a bit of it around, but it was still newish to Australian screens, and I think it was only a couple months into the process when, the crew would sort of, I guess all the feedback was coming back that, it was a multi-generational watch, and they wanted it just to be a really positive show because they didn't realise it would have such a huge following with tiny kids.
Yeah.
And, so I think it sort of started to, the producers started to realise it had to just be completely aspirational and positive, which is just absolutely what we need.
Yeah.
You obviously walk on the set and you're very comfortable. You've been there a number of times. You've seen how the production works. I imagine none of that was a shock to you. But actually being a judge, what's the hardest thing about making the transition from competing to judging?
I think there's a lot. I think you have to have a certain amount of gravitas up the front of the room, obviously, which is the thing that I've sort of struggled with the most, because I've always thought of myself as a home cook, teaching home cooks to be better home cooks, and I guess that's what I'm doing really on the show. But I've done it in I'm usually very candid in my own home, just carrying around with a tiny crew of 3 people, but being on such a when you're a contestant, you're very myopic and very focused, and you're just so busy trying to save your position in the competition. You don't really you have to learn how to block out a lot of what's going on around you. And coming back as part of a crew member, you just realise what a juggernaut it is. So every time you make a mistake, it's like you're very aware that you're holding up 50 people. So that's really when you get, when you're fumbling around trying to find your words. But that's probably the thing I struggle with most, because that's, I think when my hands are busy and I'm describing a process, it comes really easily to me because I love teaching. But when you're just standing in front of a room and describing food, sometimes I find it really hard to find my words. And I'm a bit of a sort of casual, I like to sort of be a bit silly the way I talk because I think it's more fun. But it doesn't, I don't know if it works up there. But, what can you do? I've just realised I just have to be myself.
Yeah, totally. Hey, Poe, what have you got on the go locally, food-wise, at the moment? Because you were cooking at the showgrounds for a long time, weren't you?
Yeah, I'm still there.
You did it on Sundays?
Yeah. I just finished here on Friday, flew home, did a 10-hour sit in the kitchen, and then ran the market yesterday.
Wow. At the Wayville Farmers Market.
Yeah, and then I'm back in Melbourne doing publicity till we air tonight.
Oh wow, that's a crazy schedule. Hey, all the best for it.
Yeah, it is.
Very excited about it being back. It's as a parent, it's nice to have a show you can just leave on with your young kids in the room and not have to worry about anything
I love that.
Yeah, it's good. It's a really good show.
Yeah, it's and I think that it's really interesting in season 1. I think one thing that I think shocked everyone was just how much kids really attached to the contestants. They really sort of find something that resonates with someone, and it's just such a cool thing that they can see the contestants as role models and something to aspire to. So yeah, that is a really, really lovely thing.
I know you wouldn't possibly comment either, Poe, just to wrap up, but I still reckon you were robbed. I reckon you should have won.
Do you know what? I'm telling you now, I actually didn't. Because if you knew how full on the process is that goes on back of house when we decide who gets ahead, it is not ever about the person, it's always about the dish. And I'm telling you now, my chicken rice is not great.
Oh, but the degree of difficulty is better than cooking some lamb chops, though, surely.
No, Julie took a very good chicken dish, because it was a chicken-themed meal. Yeah, she did lots of processes. And mine was quite simple in a way, but yeah, I didn't nail that. I didn't nail that at all. So
no, 16 years on, I'm still trying to...
It's completely about, it's drummed into us. It's not about potential. It's not about past cooks. It's not about the person. It's about the dish on the day.
Yeah. Well,
very magnanimous of you.
Now you're carrying on that tradition of judgment. Poe, looking forward to seeing the show tonight, returning 7:30 on 10 and 10 Play MasterChef.
This is 5AA News, always Adelaide.
Mostly sunny and 25 today with the 8:30 news. I'm Lucy Loken.
Make RAA-approved windscreen repairer, Complete Windscreens, your insurer repairer of choice. Visit completewindscreens.com.au.
Youth crime in SA is back in the spotlight. New data shows it's risen 12.6%, with some perpetrators as young as 10. Matt Hollenby from the Gooby Goose Cafe at Happy Valley was broken into 4 times in 2 weeks last year by the same group of young kids. He's told David and Will the updated youth crime stats are disheartening.
Times are quite difficult, not just for small businesses, but everyone. Unfortunately, when like what happened with me, you lose that passion pretty easily, and the stress of it all can be quite intense. And there were times, if I'm honest, that we were pondering, do we continue to do this?
Lake Eyre visitors could be banned from entering the lake bed without permission under a new draft management plan. It's to preserve cultural significance and increase visitor safety at the popular Outback tourist attraction. Trevor Wright, who runs flights over the area, says it's just common sense.
Who in their right mind would go in the middle of nowhere, 200 kilometres from anywhere, and put it out in an area you know you're going to get bogged in? And another thing is, walking on that lake, you've got to be bloody careful, because it's got a very thin covering of salt, and underneath it, it's got crystallised gypsum, which is like glass, and then you've got about 21 feet or 7 metres of black slimy clay, so you can cut yourself to ribbons.
Thousands gathered at Bondi Beach last night to pay their respects to the 6 victims killed in the Bondi Junction Westfield tragedy. In the wake of the horrific incident 9 days ago, New South Wales Police have launched a major crackdown in knife crimes. Over a 3-day targeted operation in the state, they seized 51 knives and other weapons, and 145 people were charged. Meanwhile, back home, police are investigating a serious crash at Taunton in the Barossa last night. Senior Constable Kimberly Broad says a Holden sedan crashed into a tree on Eden Valley Road, trapping the driver.
That driver was the sole occupant of the car. She's a 22-year-old woman from Tanunda. She did sustain some serious injuries in the crash and had to be airlifted to Adelaide for treatment, but it doesn't appear that those injuries are life-threatening at this time.
And police have been busy overnight. They tracked a speeding motorbike rider in Modbury Heights. The 32-year-old was followed by Polair just after midnight before patrols found him hiding in a bush on Mary Jane Court. He will appear in the legal courts at a later date and was reported for riding unlicensed, unregistered and uninsured. And a new infestation of red imported fire ants has been detected west of the Great Dividing Range in the Murray-Darling River Basin. It's the first time the species has been found in the catchment. There are no fears for the invasive species in South Australia yet, but the Invasive Species Council fears the ants may move down from Queensland and spread into floodwater down rivers into other regions. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Gliderol Garage Doors, adding strength, style and safety to your home. Gliderol.com.au.
Good morning, Tom Wren.
And a very good morning to you as well, Lucy. It's back to the drawing board for both the Crows and Port Adelaide ahead of their round 7 matches this weekend after both suffered losses. The Crows will regain midfielder Matt Crouch after he missed last week through suspension, while the Power are a chance to regain Ollie Wines and Charlie Dixon for their match at home on Friday night against St Kilda. There were 2 games to wrap up the round yesterday with Sydney 53-point winners against Gold Coast, while Hawthorn recorded its first win of the year with a 45-point drubbing of North Melbourne. Well, Max Verstappen has won the Chinese Grand Prix for the first time. Daniel Ricciardo had driven his way from 12th to 9th before retiring after being hit by Lance Stroll. Ricciardo left fuming by his apparent lack of concentration.
For me, there's honestly no excuse, but I think what's frustrating is I watched his onboard and he's not even looking at me. You can see his helmet, he's looking at the apex of the corner, so I don't know why he's not looking at the car in front.
Meantime, Will Brown has extended his lead in the Supercars Championship to 71 points after taking out the second race of the Taupo 400 in New Zealand. Well, hometown hero Jack Robinson has won his second Margaret River Surfing Pro. The 26-year-old telling Fox Sports it felt like deja vu taking on John Florence for the title, a repeat of his 2022 win.
I was really looking forward to that. He fired me up so much and look forward to many more heats with him. And yeah, John's incredible out here. Wouldn't want anyone else in the final with me.
Robinson's now been elevated to second on the World Surf League rankings. And Manchester United's into the FA Cup final after a thrilling penalty shootout win against Coventry. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Thank you, Tommy. Now checking 5AA traffic.
If it's Yamaha music, it has to be Derringer's music. Home, school or stage. Visit Derringer's today.
Morning there at Theberton. Reports of a smash on South Road near Adam Street. Delays inbound there. Clearview, burst water main to look out for. Hampstead Road near Milton Avenue. And we're slow for works at Port Adelaide, Bower Road near Causeway Road. Getting busy, Brighton Road, Equinelg East with a camera today. Barossa Valley Way at Altona. Hay fever? Don't delay. Keep sneezing at bay with Telfast Non-Drowsy Relief. Get the 70-pack on sale now at Chemist Warehouse. Always follow the directions for use. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast, 25 and sunny today, 26 partly cloudy tomorrow, dropping back to 18 and cloudy on Wednesday and 19 partly cloudy on Thursday. Right now it's 13. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Over 60,000 Adelaide homes have said yes to saving money on their energy bills with Yes, your energy saving solutions. What's keeping you? Did you know that you might be eligible for a rebate on a new appliance like a dryer or fridge? You might even qualify for a purchase you've already made. Just visit the Yes website for a list of appliances and the size of the cashback available. For T's and C's on this unbeatable offer from your energy saving solutions, go to yes.net.au. That's yes.net.au.
The business sector has had incredible advances in AI. One solution can show you how AI can streamline your business, introducing efficiencies you never thought possible. You'll save money and time, unlock new growth avenues, and you'll be keeping up with the rest of the business community. With AI and One Solution, you can innovate, optimize, and excel across every facet of your business. One Solution will show you how. onesolution.net.au, a Platinum Telstra partner.
Prepare to embark on a holiday where nothing comes close. With Celebrity Cruises and Phil Hoffman Travel, anyone can take you on a holiday, but a celebrity cruise ship is just as worthy of being a destination as the European locations they can take you to.
How's this? The Greek Isles, Portuguese culture, the Italian coast have simply never looked better. And with so much to explore along the way, you won't hear anyone ask, are we there yet?
Until the end of April, you can save up to 75% off your second guest. You'll never want to holiday any other way than with Celebrity Cruises and Phil Hoffman Travel.
So if European cruising is on your bucket list, visit pht.com.au. Phil Hoffman Travel, for more than 30 years, they've been creating moments you'll never forget.
Join Care Alert's Safety Snippets, safeguarding our seniors, one tip at a time. Brought to you by Mike and Darren.
Mike, let's discuss seniors and public transportation. Yep, for sure. Look, navigating public transport can pose unique challenges, so always be mindful of those gaps when boarding the bus or train. Hold on to those handrails and secure your belongings. Wise advice. And what about exiting buses? Well, whatever you do, wait for the bus to fully stop before you leave your seat. I'm sure we've all run down that centre aisle at high speed while the bus is braking. Funny if you're young, but not for an elderly person.
Yep, look, I think we've all been there and done that. And don't forget that having a Care Alert GPS alert system for wherever you go is the best way to get 24/7 emergency help. And you could have one free. Visit carealert.com.au for details.
That's another safety tip brought to you by Care Alert, Australia's #1 personal alert system.
When you die, who gets what? Will your kids or relatives argue over your estate? Will your beneficiaries be protected? Will your estate be tax effective? Will your wishes be respected and carried out? Speak with Donlan Lawyers now for peace of mind. Donlan Lawyers for wills and estate planning. Visit donlanlawyers.com. That's donlanlawyers.com.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube. The 5AA Player app lets you listen to all your favourite 5AA shows wherever you go.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
90 minutes to 9. Crows ever getting a headquarters? The discussion now hinges in large part on where the SANFL can shift to, because of course the Crows would be supplanting them at Theberton, and the plan was to do a bit of a switcheroo, a convenient and elegant solution, it would seem like, where the SANFL would move to the Crows' old headquarters at West Lakes. But use of the land there, potential for lights, training times and so forth has raised the hackle of some locals who took their concerns to council, who now tonight have a vote on where this goes to next. Paul Sutton is the CEO of the Charles Sturt Council. Paul, good morning to you and thanks for your time.
Thank you very much. Good morning, Will. Good morning, David.
So, Paul, just in a nutshell, what are the council's concerns? And I know you sought a meeting with the Planning Minister Nick Champion. Has that happened?
Yeah, that's happened. Essentially, what the concerns of some of our residents have been is that they were hoping to have unfettered access to football park, used as open space for their recreation. And what we've had is a proposal from the SANFL that seeks to use the oval for some of their junior programs, for their boys and girls programs, as well as an Indigenous program. And they're looking to use the oval at about a bit over 20 hours per week, about up to a maximum of 90 hours per month.
Mm. And is that not enough in the eyes of the community?
Well, we've got some people in our community that have made representations to the council that really see that any use by the SANFL is something that they would rather wasn't there.
How many hours were the Crows using it for?
Well, the Crows situation's a little bit different because the Crows actually have an exclusive lease over the land, so that means they can use it as much as they like, and to be honest, they can exclude the community from using that land completely.
So if I'm a resident, what actually is changing?
Well, the land will be changing hands. At the moment, the land is owned by SANFL, and
Sure.
they've got a contract with Commercial in General, who are the developer of the land. But then, as part of the development process, the developer will gift that land to the council, and then it'll be councils to manage and operate.
But beyond the ownership and the leasing and who owns it and so forth, if I'm a local resident who wants to go on the oval and have a kick of footy or walk my dog or run around with the kids,
yep.
I'm going from a situation where one club had exclusive access to the SANFL having exclusive access. I'm struggling to follow what's changed.
The SANFL aren't proposing to have exclusive access. They'll have limited access, and that's up to that 90 hours per month or 20 and a bit hours per week.
So theoretically, isn't that a better deal for the residents then?
It depends on how you look at it.
Or it depends on which residents you talk to.
How many residents complained about this?
Well, we ran a consultation on this late last year. We had 27 responses, and of those, about a third were in favour of the SANFL response, and others some were against, and some were had concerns about it that could be worked through.
So it's like maybe like 10 people.
That was about a 6% response rate.
So it could be like, of the 27 who even bothered to contact the council, only about a third of them were anti, so it might be fewer than 10 people.
No, about a third were in favour, so a half to two-thirds were against.
Okay, so it'll be 18 people.
Yep.
Yeah. It doesn't feel like a groundswell, does it?
Well, that's part of what the process is about, is the council's keen to do a further round of consultation and get a broader perspective of the community.
Can I just ask one thing, Paul? Correct me if I'm wrong. Given that Commercial in General own the land, can't they sort of at the moment do whatever they want with it?
Well, the land's actually technically in the ownership of the sample, but Commercial in General have a contract on it. So essentially they're in that period between when they've signed a contract but they haven't settled on it yet.
Yeah, right, okay.
To put it in everyday terms.
So what precisely is being voted on tonight then, Paul?
Whether or not we will go to consultation to the community on two things, and that is what's called a community land management plan, which councils have to have over community land, and but in addition to that, a licence for the sample's use.
Is that then? Do the numbers not really matter? It would have got you to this stage if one person complained about it. I'm just wondering what the lower threshold of a point at which a council says, you know what, there's no one actually cares about this.
Yeah, well, we have to go through, the legislation requires us to go through a consultation process.
Okay. Yeah. So it doesn't matter even if one person said something. You still have to. We get to this point no matter what happens.
Correct.
Okay. Right. So there'll be a vote tonight on how you proceed. So potentially the vote tonight could say, there's not a problem, and it'll all proceed. It's not necessarily going to be the case that this thing's going to get thrown out and rejected.
Yes, that would be fair. At some point, we will have to consult the community. Probably the other thing that's of interest to this one is, and this is about the volume or the square meterage of open space that is required to be provided in the West development. So the legislation or the PDI Act requires 12.5% open space. There's a zoning over this particular development that requires it to be 15%. And at this point, Commercial in General have provided a bit over 18%. And there's an open space agreement that we've negotiated with Commercial in General, that is, administration has negotiated that, and we're looking to see if the council will endorse that, which then locks in that higher amount of open space for our community.
All right, Paul, thank you. We'll await the outcome of the vote then tonight. The Charles Sturt Council, Paul Sutton there is the CEO. The Treasurer of South Australia has called in, Stephen Mulligan. Treasurer, good morning to you.
Oh, g'day, Will. G'day, Pembo. Look, I've got to say this is really surprising and disappointing that the councillors at the last minute have rolled marbles under the feet of what the SANFL and what the Crows are trying to achieve. I went to the last council meeting to speak in favour of what the SANFL is proposing, and basically that's a choice between the status quo, which is the Crows tying up the Oval for the majority of the week, and nothing against the Crows. I mean, they're an AFL club. They've got two senior teams, men's and women's. It stands to reason that they're going to need the Oval a lot, and they do. That limits access to the community. Or what the SANFL is proposing to do, and that is to take over management of the Oval, but massively unlock it for the benefit of the community. I think, including the Saturday, I think the SANFL only wants it for a maximum of about 15 hours a week, or maybe 20 hours a week at most, and that's only from 5:30 p.m. onwards. So, kids after school wanting to go and have a kick on the Oval, no worries. People wanting access to it all day on Sunday, absolutely no worries. But what I'm told, I don't know if this is true or not, maybe to be good for the councillors who are opposing this concern to call in, but what I'm told is that the West Torrens activists have targeted some councillors and tried to whip up some discontent about the SANFL's proposition at West Lakes to try and put a spanner in the works of what the Crows are trying to do at Feverton. I guess my message to the council tonight, the City of Charles Sturt, is there's 600,000 Crows supporters watching the decision you're making about whether you're going to frustrate the Crows' plans at Feverton, and there's tens of thousands of SANFL supporters watching the decision from their club's perspective about the future home of the SANFL. And I can't believe that they're opposing it at the last moment without an alternative proposition, when the community would be so much better off with so much more access to this Oval.
100%. I mean, they're opposing something that's vastly better than the current arrangements.
Absolutely. And the status quo, Pembo, is that commercial in general have got the land zoned at 3 of the 4 corners of the oval to build high-rise apartments. So the proposition is between the status quo, Crows using it on an ongoing basis because they can't move, tying up the oval and the community not getting access to it, and it being surrounded by apartment towers, or the SANFL getting in there, opening it up for community use and making sure that we've got something a little bit closer to an only oval type precinct.
Yeah, 100%. They're very generous words coming from a Port diehard as well, Treasurer.
I say it through gritted teeth, Pembo, but it was important to say it.
Thank you, Treasurer. This is Steve Mulligan, the Treasurer, calling in. Yeah, this feels like a real burn the village to save the village moment, doesn't it? What we've got is terrible. What we're getting is only slightly better. So we'd rather have nothing.
That's right.
That seems to be the logic.
Yeah, let's cut off our nose to spite our face.
But we are talking about the logic of somewhere in the order of 15 people.
Oh. I actually thought the CEO, Paul Sutton, was good of him to come on the show. I don't know, did you detect an air of world weariness in his voice?
Oh, no, I think as the CEO, he has to... So he can't come on and say, we should be doing this or we shouldn't. Well, that's not his job. He's just saying what it is. I think he actually did pretty well.
Yeah, totally. And I think when he ran through those numbers as to how... I think he was probably quite happy that we asked that question.
Yeah.
Because it gave him a chance to go, yep, that's the way local government works.
Yeah.
Less than 20 people have complained about it. Only 27 people even bothered to respond, and here we are.
121,840 people live in the Charles Sturt area. 121,840.
So what's 20 as a percentage of that?
I can't work that out, but
it's like 0.00000 something, isn't it?
Yeah.
How do we run a state on these lines?
Well,
it's crazy, isn't it?
It is ludicrous. Absolutely. All right, let's check traffic. We're going to check in with Jade Robberin very shortly.
Thanks, Will. Smash to look out for today at St Agnes, Hancock Road near Parkview Drive. Burst Waterway slowing things up at Clearview today. She's on Hampstead Road near Milton Avenue. We're busy at the moment at Semaphore Park, Bower Road near Old Port Road, and slow going South Brighton for works, Brighton Road near Folkestone Road. Cameras, Clark Road, Evanston Gardens, and Montague Road at Cavan. The Australian government's tax cuts from the 1st of July aren't just for some, they're for every taxpayer. Visit taxcuts.gov.au to find out how the July 1 tax cuts will benefit you. Authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
On 5AA mornings today, a short-term accommodation tax proposed by the Adelaide City Council to hit Airbnbs in the city, and the Australian Medical Association finds South Australian hospital performance amongst the worst in the nation. I'm Matthew Pantelis. Those stories and more, your calls too. Look forward to your company on 5AA mornings from 9.
After 25 years of delivering perfect service, ACET Couriers is evolving to better reflect what they do now. They're not just couriers, they're your go-to for fast, secure and reliable national transport solutions, now known as ACET Transport Solutions. Darren, Chris and the team at ACET Transport Solutions have a fleet of over 220 vehicles delivering any size parcel and any size pallet to anywhere in Australia. Book online at acettransport.au. Don't send it, ACET.
Australian Idol winner Damien Leith returns to Her Majesty's Theatre this May with his acclaimed Roy Orbison orchestrated show, paying tribute to the Big O with a 35-piece concert orchestra. Hear Crying, Blue Bayou, Oh Pretty Woman and so many more. Live at Her Majesty's Theatre Friday, May 10. Roy Orbison orchestrated with Damien Leith. Book now at Ticketek.
Thank you very much. You've been an awesome audience. Thank you so much.
All right, let's say you've signed a building contract. Imagine this. Work's underway on your dream home. Everyone's excited, and then one day, crunch, your builder hits rock while digging your footings.
Well, what happens next? Most builders, they send you a nice apologetic letter, but then they will bump up their price with a variation.
But not at Rossdale Homes. When you sign their absolute fixed price contract, there are no hidden costs or nasty surprises. The price is fixed, and that's why it's the industry's strongest contract.
So before you build, talk to Adelaide's most trusted builder, Rossdale Homes, because trust is a must.
Remember when milk came in bottles? I mean real glass bottles. It somehow tasted better, and it was better for the planet. That's why the Flurio Milk Company have brought it back. Milk in a glass bottle. Thanks to you, the reduction in single-use plastic bottles is already proving phenomenal, and the numbers continue to grow. Join the fight to reduce plastic single-use bottles and look for milk refill stations in your supermarket. Visit fleuriomilkco.com.au for more.
Hey lads, a guy in the community says he's keen on the Ruffy in race 7.
Do we trust him?
His username is Big Stats Guy.
Say no more.
Connect and follow tips with a community of like-minded punters, only in Ladbrokes communities. Ladbroke it. What's gambling really costing you?
The 5AA Player app lets you listen to all your favourite 5AA shows wherever you go.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
5 minutes to 9. Jade Robrin in a moment. First, we'll just check the fuel situation to start the week. Find out when fuel is at its cheapest and where to fill up nearby with the free RAA app. The cheapest diesel, we'll start with diesel this morning, $1.95.5, the Liberty Main South Road, Old Noarlunga. Unleaded, hasn't been a huge deal of fluctuation the past 7 days. When it's been cheap, it's been in these sorts of areas. $1.82.9 at the Ampol, Goodwood Road, Westbourne Park is about as good as you'll find it. It's good news for you, David. Otherwise, Coles Express, West Lakes Boulevard, $1.84.9. In fact, not bad news for either of us. If you can get it somewhere in that $1.82 to $1.85 range, that's pretty reasonable today. Otherwise, you're going to see it going up a little bit more than that. A few Dutton's texts coming through.
One here. David and Will, is it time for the Premier to step in and bring these councils to heel, re the Crows and the SANFL? Surely he can. That's from Wendy. One here from Dirk saying tune in at 4 for Rowie coming in off the top of the turnbuckle. I'll tell you what, as long as he's not talking about killing sharks again. Because that went down like a lead balloon with most of our listeners.
Were there more people that agreed with him on sharks or that agree with the blocking the proposal to move the sample back? So there was 17 people, we think, in the latter category.
It's just staggering, isn't it? It's just bizarre. And it's the squeaky wheelers. But the idea, though, that you've got West Torrens councillors revving up Charles Sturt councillors... And they'd be like ideological sort of fellow travellers, you'd imagine. Like it'd be the local sort of green-tinted sort of, think globally, act locally people.
Oh, yeah.
People with the climate emergency sticker on the back of their car.
Here's a question for you that I know the answer to. How many of those 17 do you think are listening right now?
None.
I don't feel like we're the radio station.
No, we're not. We're not. No, they'd be on 891 or who knows. Maybe just, not listen to radio.
They wouldn't have it plugged in.
Maybe listen to Radio National or something like that. But yeah, or some podcast about, some obscure artist or... They're not big footy people. Yeah, they're not footy nuts.
No, that's right. We're having a bit of trouble getting in touch with Jade at the moment, it seems like.
Hey, what about, can I just sneak in a bit of a rant about Elon Musk before the end of the show?
Yeah, let me just say this. Jade Robert is out on the road in her Volkswagen Tiguan Allspace searching for breaking news. Thanks to Dutton's Volkswagen. We just haven't been able to... Trust us, she's out there.
She's out there
She's doing a great job. We just haven't been able to get in contact with her.
She's got the car, she just hasn't got the phone.
Yeah, that's right. We need a sponsor for that. Elon.
So the federal government, quite rightly, has announced that, and this is through the social media...
the E-Safety Commissioner.
The E-Safety Commissioner. The most sort of tasteful and sensible request in the world. They've asked Twitter to take down the images of that priest being stabbed in Sydney last week. So Musk has turned around and tried to claim that this is some major assault on free speech. He says the Australian Censorship Commissar is demanding global content bans. This guy's arguing for the right to maintain his own snuff website. Like, it's just extraordinary. The fact that you could conflate live footage of a bloke being stabbed with, an attempted murder being shown.
But he's the case of Frankenstein killing his... Dr. Frankenstein being killed by his monster. Because he's basing his opinion on fake news Twitter accounts saying Australia's trying to suppress free speech and stop conversation about this. So he's read his own stuff that's on his profile platform that's fake, and that's informed his decision to allow the rest of it to go. Like, it feels like some sort of Isaac Asimov story.
Yeah. Because there's no intention at all on the part of the E-Safety Commissioner to stop people talking about it.
You can still debate it.
Just not the actual footage of someone being stabbed.
Crazy. All right, we're out of time. Matt Pantelis is coming up in just a moment. I think he's going to talk about the cranker. Or the Cranker Cafe, as it might well be in the near future.
The architect's drawings show that what is the current band space at the Crown and Anchor Hotel under the new building, it becomes the waste room. It's where they keep all the rubbish at the bottom of the building.
No good at all. All right, well, Matt will get into that.